which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yeah. Keep them on the table.
Should we hold it up? You want? Are we holding up? Okay. We're waiting for the recording to get up and running. What's that? Okay. We'll catch up. Roll call, please, Ed.
Mr. Bookout.
Present.
Mr. Flanagan.
Present.
Mr. Mokel.
Here.
Piper.
Here.
Mr. Whitehead.
Present.
Mr. Cantz.
Yes.
Mr. Hughes.
Here.
Mr. Freeman.
Here. Marissa, was the agenda posted?
Yes.
Want to make a slight amendment before we approve the agenda. so that we can, right after the approval of the agenda, we'll take up the additional appropriation for the courts, the probation officers. That's agreeable. I'd entertain a motion to approve the agenda with that addition.
I'll move to approve as amended.
I'll second.
Motion by Jessica, second by Dan. Roll call, please.
Mr. Flanagan.
Yes.
Mr. Whitehead.
Yes.
Mr. Mokel.
Yes.
Mr. Bookout.
Yes.
Ms. Piper.
Yes.
Mr. Cantz.
Yes.
Mr. Hughes.
Yes. Okay, under appropriations, the first appropriation, if you would read that one, please, for the courts.
In County General, 138 Courts, 123, 101 Probation Officer 23, 6,434. 125, 101 Probation Officer 25, 3,443. 127, 101 Probation Officer 27, 2,783. 159, 101 Probation Officer 59, 2,802. 160, 101 Probation Officer 60, 5,470. 161, 101 Probation Officer 61, 2,964. 169, 101 Probation Officer 69, 3,210. 192, 101 Probation Officer 92, 2,556. 171 FICA, 2,269 and 14 cents. 172 perf, 3,322 and 14 cents, for a total of 35,253 and 28 cents.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Jessica, second by Dan. Jeff?
Morning, Council. Jeff Hanser, Chief Probation Officer. I'm here on behalf of the courts to request this appropriation. Judge Calhoun did intend to be here. However, as we all know, court schedules are pretty tight, so she could not make it. So seeking appropriation for these certain probation officer lines for the 2026 budget when we were in budget hearings in 2025. Through inadvertence, these probation officers lines were not funded adequately for this calendar year. That is due to the fact that when probation officers hit certain years of service markers during the course of the year, they do go into another pay cohort, and that's why there's these certain individuals here that were not funded properly for 2026. So here today seeking additional appropriation to properly fund those lines out through the remainder of the year.
Okay, and then you've also given us the 2027
Yes,
salaries as well?
after finance last week, I did provide a copy of the 2027 Indiana probation officer salary schedule to Mr. Mokel and Mr. Whitehead, just to inform the council for 2027. The state of Indiana has frozen probation officers' salaries at their current rate for 2027. So this is actually the second year in a row that, once you're in a years of service cohort, those salaries will not change for 2027. So there's no COLA increases in those.
Questions?
How did it get missed in the first place?
Good question. I think it was just an honest mistake when our previous court administrator separated from employment a couple months ago. She informed myself and presiding Judge Calhoun that we need to go back to council for this appropriation. It's the first time in my memory of 16 years or so employment with the county that's happened, so would not anticipate that happening again.
With the changes in the courts and the administrator level, obviously there's concern for next budget that we've got, there's gonna be some gaps. Do you not do the submission for that for probation?
Yeah, typically the court administrator handles all budget related matters for the courts, of which probation is a part of that. So in my role, I work with the court administrator on that, but that main point of contact for the courts with the budget submission and the budget hearings, the court administrator handles the lion's share of those efforts.
What's the process to avoid something like years of service, or in the prosecutor's office where there's the years of service components and what have you? What processes do we have from a payroll perspective to avoid this for budget time? Do we have something specific that?
Yeah,
can be done?
so kind of an interesting piece is that throughout the calendar year, I do have probation officers that go into a new cohort and get a pay increase. So we're going.
Do they get paid on anniversary date, or they get paid on a
Yeah,
yearly?
so it's
yearly
their date of hire. So that could be, for some it's January 1st because they were hired.
So you preemptively have to budget those numbers for
We
next year.
do. So those have to be calculated out. So, we have obviously spreadsheets and different mechanisms for that. And then the PIs have to be submitted during the pay period for which that triggers. Instead of just front loading all of the PI requests at the beginning of the year for the whole year, we do wait until they kind of hit those years of service. So there's a lot of moving pieces to it just to kind of manage that.
Yeah, it seems like a perfect example of a process that needs to be written on paper and followed year after year for whomever.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're going to have a new administrator, it's going to be another situation that they may not know. So we need those things documented,
Right.
Other questions? And again, this is, the state mandates the salaries, but they're paid out of a county general fund. So this is an additional appropriation out of county general for the $35,253.28. Roll call, please.
Ms. Flanagan.
Yes.
Mr. Whitehead.
Yes.
Ms. Piper.
Yes.
Mr. Mokel.
Yes.
Mr. Bookout.
Yes.
Mr. Cantz.
Yes.
Mr. Hughes.
Yes. Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you.
We'll go back to we have 3 sets of minutes, February 24th, March 31st, April 28th. How do you wish to proceed?
I'd like to separate them. The first 2 are tabled, so I'd make a motion to untable the February 24th council meeting minutes.
Second.
Motion by Eugene, second by Brad. Roll call on untabling February 24th council minutes.
Ms. Flanagan.
Yes.
Mr. Whitehead.
Yes.
Mr. Mokel.
Yes.
Bookout.
Yes.
Ms. Piper.
Yes.
Mr. Cantz.
Yes.
Mr. Hughes.
Yes. Okay. Comments on the February 24th council minutes?
Yes. The minutes that we attempted to approve at that meeting were from December 16th, January 6th, and January 27th. The December 16th minutes and the January 6th minutes in our February 24th minutes show that we untabled them. However, after reviewing the meeting, we did not, and then we approved them. I'd like for the minutes to reflect that we did not untable those, we just approved them. So that way it's an accurate report from our February 24th meeting.
Okay.
Beyond that correction or amendment, I think the rest of the February 24th meeting minutes are okay.
That's a motion to amend the February 24th minutes as they have been presented. Is that correct?
Correct.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Eugene, second by Jessica to amend the February 24th council meeting minutes to reflect that those prior minutes were not untabled, they were simply approved. Roll call, please.
Ms. Flanagan.
Yes.
Mr. Whitehead.
Yes.
Mr. Mokel.
Yes.
Mr. Bookout.
Yes.
Ms. Piper.
Yes.
Mr. Cantz.
Yes.
Mr. Hughes.
Yes. Okay, now I need a motion to approve the February 24th minutes as amended.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Eugene, second by Dan. Further discussion? Roll call, please.
Ms. Flanagan.
Yes.
Mr. Whitehead.
Yes.
Mr. Mokel.
Yes.
Mr. Bookout.
Yes.
Ms. Piper.
Yes.
Mr. Cantz.
Yes.
Mr. Hughes.
Yes. Moving on, we need to remove the March 31st council meeting minutes from the table.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Dan, second by Eugene. Roll call, please.
Ms. Flanagan.
Yes.
Mr. Whitehead.
Yes.
Mr. Mokel.
Yes.
Mr. Bookout.
Yes.
Ms. Piper,
Yes.
Mr. Cantz,
Yes.
Mr. Hughes,
Yes. Need a motion to approve March 31st meeting minutes.
So
Make a
moved.
motion?
Motion by Dan,
I'll second.
second by Jessica. Any comments or questions on these minutes? Roll call, please.
Ms. Flanagan,
Yes.
Mr. Wyatt,
Yes.
Mr. Mokel,
Yes.
Mr. Bookout,
Yes.
Ms. Piper,
Yes.
Mr. Cantz,
Abstain.
Mr. Hughes,
Yes. Moving on, approval of the April 28th council meeting minutes.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Motion by Dan, second by Jessica. Any comments or questions?
Yes, Mr. President, I would suggest that we table these for further review. I've seen an issue that I think we need to discuss a little more regarding the way that the roll calls are recorded on here, where it just says motion carried and no vote totals are taken.
Okay, is that a motion to table?
That is a motion to table, please.
I'll second.
Motion by Eugene to table the April 28th council meeting minutes, second by Jessica. Roll call, please.
Ms. Flanagan,
Yes.
Mr. Wyatt,
Yes.
Mr. Mokel,
Yes.
Mr. Bookout,
Yes.
Ms. Piper,
Yes.
Mr. Cantz,
Yes.
Mr. Hughes,
Yes. Thank you. Moving on to transfer and appropriation agenda.
Still on appropriations outside of county general. 1,200 supplemental public defenders, 550 other capital outlays, 3,500 for a total of 3,500.
Move to approve.
Second?
Motion by Jessica, second by Dan. Good morning, Shelley.
Good morning. This, Shelley Harvey, Office Administrator, Public Defender's Office. We are hoping to purchase a storage container to put out at the Justice Center near the clerk's storage container. We are currently paying $193 a month for a storage unit, and the quotes that I have received, received when I started this process, were for between $1,800 and $2,300 for a storage container. I'm going to have to, of course, get those requoted because with gas prices going up, I assume that because that's a delivered cost, I assume that has gone up. And I also need to get some quotes on how to move the files from our storage unit to the storage container. We may have to hire a moving company. I was hoping that was something Community Corrections could help us out with, but they are no longer able to. So right now I'm asking for the appropriation so I can get the logistics down, but just to know that I have the money. We have files in our storage unit that are up to 20 some years old, that we access our storage unit perhaps once a year. Maybe twice, but sometimes not at all. But the state file retention schedule says that anything between a level 5 felony and a murder, we must retain the file forever or until we can confirm that defendant is deceased. So, and that would be thousands and thousands and thousands of files for us to go through to try to do that. So we're asking for the money to get the ball rolling. The commissioners have already given us permission to place it out there. So we're just wanting to get them moved as quickly as we can. If it takes a couple months, 2 or 3 months, it takes 2 or 3 months.
Do we have the,
This is an allowed expenditure of supplemental funds.
Yes, this is this is an example of what they would like us to spend our supplemental funds on, these one-time expenses that come up that allow us to not have to ask for county general funds to be able to accomplish kind of a big task.
does it also prove that they could be digitized?
They absolutely could be digitized if somebody from our office would have to sit out there, or however the logistics of that, I don't know. If somebody would have to go out there and digitize them, we would have to, somebody from our office would have to be there.
Well, we would need storage, we would need, doesn't the recorder's office, they bought that fancy scanner that can do high-speed digitization of records?
Yes, and if we were to do that, we would never get a case through the court system, because that's all we would be doing is digitizing, unless we.
Found some interns or something like that?
Yes, that is a huge, huge undertaking. Of course, from now on out, everything is digital. And these, like I said, some of these files are only 7, 8 years. We have imagine a box. We have file cabinets down one wall. We have file cabinets down the center of that box. We have file cabinets down the end wall.
Right.
On
And
this-
in 20 years, it's gonna be worse.
Well,
So like, we
don't
have to figure out a way to
No, we don't have
digitize
to
records
store,
eventually.
there are no files anymore. That's the
They are
thing.
digital.
They're all digital.
They are.
Yes,
What were you referring to?
old files.
Right, oh, that's what I mean, old
Yes.
files, right?
But yeah, from now on, we won't have to worry about this, but we have to store those old files forever.
Okay,
And
or we
they'll-
could digitize them too, theoretically.
yes, I mean, theoretically, yes.
Okay.
And then we have boxes floor to ceiling, and then floor to ceiling on top of the file cabinets.
Yeah. As we're looking at, buying storage or our on-site storage for how much we have to buy for sand and other things, or whether we go to Office 365 or we go to Google or whatever the case may be, that storage requirement needs to be taken into account. And if that supplemental fund could be used to help fund some of that, it's just an idea that we should throw on
Right.
the table
Right.
as we're talking about that future potential project. So, thanks.
This is a one-time cost. We're gonna own that box. and-
Correct.
Other questions?
Does the box need to be heated or cooled?
It is windproof and waterproof, and these boxes, I hate to say, some of them are smashed because they've been stacked so long. We don't anticipate ever having to access these files again. So no, we are at this point not planning on any kind of air system or anything for that.
Other questions? Roll call, please.
Ms. Flanagan.
Yes.
Mr. Whitehead.
Yes.
Ms. Piper.
Yes.
Mr. Mokel.
Yes.
Mr. Bookout.
Yes.
Mr. Cantz.
Yes.
Mr. Hughes.
Yes.
Thank you for your time.
1176 MVH, 535 machinery, 54,983 and 72 cents, for a total of 54,983 and 72 cents.
Move to approve?
Second.
Motion by Jessica, second by Dan. Good morning, Carrie. Good
Good
morning,
morning,
Tom.
Carrie Dye, County Highway. So on March 13th, the county had an auction out at the highway, and we sold some equipment, and it was $54,983.72. With that, we would like to purchase a Mower Max tractor. We did go to DCRC, and they have agreed to supplement the funding. The total cost is $322,402.34. So with your approval of the $54,000, then DCRC would pay for $267,418.62.
And what does this equipment do?
It's like it's like the mowers we have that we put out that cuts the brush. So it's going to have a 26-foot boom on it. It'll have a rotary head that will mulch the trees down and trees back. It's also got a mower deck where we can actually mow ditch lines. It's just going to be able to do a large variety of things, dealing with cutting brush back, areas back.
Is this being used full-time, you think?
Yeah, so we will use this full time. So we will have 2 operators that will be trained on this. This company is going to send professionals here to train 2 operators. It will be ran year round. It's heated and everything. It's got air conditioning. It is heated. We currently are running 2 tractors right now that are I think one's in 1990, and maybe the other one is 86 or 87, and we're keeping them together with Band-Aids, okay? But we'll continue to put those out. I mean, we can keep them out, but this right here is going to be a game changer. I mean, it's huge. We checked with a lot of places. The toll road in northern Indiana has 2 of them. They've currently ordered 2 more. A lot of surrounding counties have these things. They are actually working on getting a piece to go on the guardrails where it will actually cut around the post. So that's in the works right now. It's not been released yet. So this company is really, us and the commissioners have talked to these people for what, 3 years, probably the last 3 years about this. This will be a generation 4. The 3s on the open market are selling, the used ones are selling for real close to similar to what they gave for them. There's one other major competitor, which is a foreign company. I won't mention the name. A lot of counties are selling those off because they can't get parts and they're just not working right. And I think they said they averaged 10 cents on the dollar of resale.
This is American made?
Everything here is American made. It's made in Tampa, Florida. I've talked directly to the higher ups in the company in Tampa, and like I said, they're going to send people here to train our operators, and they actually have a service that they have 2 technicians that are close to us that we can call and get service quick if something does happen. Also,
They said it was like a 48-hour turnaround for any service. They did come here locally in December and do a demonstration with us across from the county highway. Commissioner Reagan and Henry were also there for that demonstration.
but they have
Telematics system where they can radio in or computer in and fix anything.
So everything on here is like on this Gen 4, everything is updated on it. It's like the second series. They went through, rebuilt some pumps and stuff. So everything on this is really good. The resale value on these, like I said, on the older ones, but he said the newer ones, they're going to hold their value just as well as the Gen 3s did. So it's a pretty good piece of equipment that can be used in, like, one of my first places I want to go is Delaware Drive in the industrial center. There's some trees and stuff in there that needs to be cleaned out, some rows. So that's one of the first things I want to do with this.
Tommy, I appreciate your help keeping the industrial parks cleaned up over the years.
Thank you, Brad.
Yeah, you've used equipment in the past, I know, to go out and do stuff that was long overdue. And so I know, I presume this will be used for same
absolutely.
type of work.
And just for an example, we took one of our tractors out there, I'm going to say 2 years ago, and Commissioner Reagan wanted a kind of pretty much, not really a fence row, but it was like a fence row out. So, I mean, it was a lot of handwork. We were there for probably 2 weeks with a tractor and 2 guys. I mean, we could have done it in 2 days with this, you know. It's something we can get off-road, like in the industrial center, we can actually get off, like, Brad, when you clean that up, I don't know what road that is right there, we clean that to look like a park. Well, it's starting to grow back up now, but I mean, we can get in there and knock that stuff down.
Other questions? Roll call, please.
Ms. Flanagan.
Yes.
Mr. Whitehead.
Yes.
Ms. Piper.
Yes.
Mr. Mokel.
Yes.
Mr. Bookout.
Yes.
Mr. Cantz.
Yes.
Mr. Hughes.
Yes,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you very much.
4915, ambulance replacement. 550, other capital outlays. 109,403 for a total of 109,403.
Move to approve.
Second. Motion by Jessica, second by Dan. Good morning, Mike.
Mike Ashley, Delaware County EMS Director. This is to finish the project for an ambulance remount we did. We started in September of 24. So bought the chassis then, and we're just now in the production, so it'll be done in about a month to 6 weeks. So this is just to pay the final cost of that. So
How do you guys fund this, 4915?
comes from doing ALS intercepts. So if we go intercept with somebody, it's $100. They pay us $100.
Okay.
So we're not making money in that deal at all, but at least that money goes into that account for.
Yeah,
these-
and
these
this will
things.
take a big chunk of it out, right, for this, just
Yeah.
this one, yeah.
Yeah, it takes a little longer to recoup, but there's still, it'll be back to 100 grand by the end of the year probably.
What was the total cost of the chassis and the ambulance, approximately?
About $165,846. We got a discount by buying the chassis up front, saved us about $2,000. Now, even though I bought the chassis in September, which was great that we did, we're still getting a 2027 chassis. So they're not making money on that deal, I guarantee you. So we came out okay in that deal. A new truck would be about, for this size of truck, this is one of the bigger ones, would be about 400 grand. And about 400. So this is going to be basically a brand new truck. They take it apart, redo everything, put it all back together, painted, new chassis, redo the box. So that's where we're
Mike,
at.
why did it take so long to get it to this point?
Just like everything else, COVID. That's just when life went to hell. Oh, it did. We used to take us, it used to be about a 9-month turnaround. Now it's taken this long for everything to still
Ordered
get
it in
caught up.
20.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
200.
So just been waiting this long. They did have there was a little bit of a delay because they had their painting where they get the trucks painted up in, God, I can't remember the name of town. Anyway, it's almost on the Michigan line. They had a fire, so that set everything back about 4 months too. So this we were hoping to have had this in back in like November, but that slowed things down just a bit. But the most of it is it's just never recovered from COVID yet. It's taken that long to get everything caught back up because I mean everything came to a stop there for almost a year. So
So we're gonna get a new truck shortly.
yep, I'll have it back here. Like I said, about 6 weeks. I'm expecting it to be done.
And then are we also anticipating taking another truck that we currently have and running it back through?
Yep, I'll have another one. I'll probably do that in about October-ish, around budget time. Just throw in some spice, you know.
Any anticipated expense?
It'll be about the same, probably in the 180 range. So
Any time? What do you think time-wise it's gonna take to do?
I don't know.
Don't know.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know because what they told me the last 3 trucks has not even been close to what they told me when we started. But I mean, it is what it is. I can't, you know. So we used to get this done at Braun, and they were running like I don't know, half a year longer than the place we're doing now. So I mean, it's been so long. I bought the stuff from Crossroads, and they've been sold out to McQueen in Michigan. Same people, same place, new owner. So that might actually speed things along a little bit, though. So.
Other questions? Roll call, please, Ed.
Ms. Flanagan.
Yes.
Mr. Wyatt.
Yes.
Piper.
Yes.
Smokel.
Yes.
Bookout.
Yes.
Mr. Cantz.
Yes.
Mr. Hughes.
Yes. Thanks, Mike.
Now,
4910 capital improvements, 311 contractual services, 88,000 for a total of 88,000.
Move to approve?
Second?
Motion by Jessica, second by Dan.
so this is to cover bills that I found after the office manager resigned, hidden in various places. A lot of them weren't even opened, just unopened mail, all kinds of crazy stuff. So I'm hoping you all read my email and I sent to you. I tried to explain it the best I could. That's just scratching the surface, but basically I paid about that much out in 26 money for 25, but everything, I've got a little bit more to pay to Boundtree Medical, but I'll have that finished up this month. So then I'll be completely square. So to get through 26, I need to replenish my money. The good news for you guys is I was told like less than 20 grand went back to the general fund at the end of the year. It was more like 70 or 80. I don't have an exact number because there's found 2 sets of books, but nonetheless. So that money went back to the general fund. I'm trying to take it out of capital improvements, so there's no impact on you guys, and whatever I got left over will go back into the general. So trying to keep the impacts to a minimum. Does that make sense?
Yep, a couple
Okay.
questions.
All right.
How does this one get funded? The capital improvement
It
fund
gets 15 grand a month from revenue.
that you guys bring in?
Hmm.
Okay. And is it okay that,
Yes, there's an ordinance. Eugene can vouch for me, because we had a problem last year with the 4910 account. It's capital improvement, is its title, but it says in the ordinance can be used for any
operational?
operational needs for to sustain the service.
Okay.
One very important sentence in that. So
Other questions? Roll call, please.
Ms. Flanagan.
Yes.
Mr. Whitehead.
Yes.
Ms. Piper.
Yes.
Mr. Mokel.
Yes.
Mr. Bookout.
Yes.
Mr. Cantz.
Yes.
Mr. Hughes.
Yes.
thank you.
Thank you, Mike.
There's one more, I think.
One more. Okay.
Yeah. I think it's just
Couple.
connected.
Couple more.
We're in major transfers, 4910 capital improvements to 155 EMS, 4910 311 contractual services, negative 78,000. This is to 155 311 contractual services, positive 35,000. 351 utility services electric, positive 20,000. 356 utility services internet, positive 8,000. 363 repairs and maintenance vehicle, positive 10,000. 380 repairs and maintenance building EMS, positive 5,000. Total transfer zero.
Move to approve.
Second. Motion by Jessica, second by Dan.
That was kind of the breakdown of the 88, but there's the 10 grand. I'm not sure how all this works. These guys help me out tremendously. But there's the 10 grand of the 88 is going to go into medical supplies. Medical supplies. So. is
No,
that
we're on the
all?
one above that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
The
all part of the
78 and the
88.
10 equal
I just didn't know
88.
if I needed a separate vote. It's separate on my sheet, so.
Mike, once all the financial situation is quantified with your department, will you be able to come back and update the council on the situation?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
I think it would be
I would love to talk right now, but I probably better not. So.
I think it would be important for transparency purposes.
Yep, absolutely, 100%. So, and you can call me anytime. So are we good on this 10 grand going to the?
We're on the one above it.
above it.
78.
Oh, sorry.
Do we have in situations like this, do we have an outside auditor that might come in and re-audit the books to make sure that, in fact, they're good to go?
My new office manager is going to be coming from the auditor's office, so we're going to work on that. I think we're in pretty good shape. I found most of it was just unpaid bills, and from what I understand, a lot of those were in the VIP system in draft mode. I didn't know how that worked till now. I'm pretty good at it now, but there was no reason. The money was there. I don't have an answer for you. I'll take full responsibility for it, but I don't have an answer for you. So.
Other questions? Roll call, please.
Ms. Flanagan.
Yes.
Mr. Whitehead.
Yes.
Ms. Piper.
Yes.
Mr. Mokel.
Yes.
Mr. Bookout.
Yes.
Mr. Cantz.
Yes.
Mr. Hughes.
Yes.
4910 capital improvements to 4920 medical supplies, 4910 311 contractual services, negative 10,000. 4920 medical supplies, positive 10,000. Total transfer zero.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Jessica, second by Dan. Here's the medical supplies.
Yes, this one, this gets 10 grand a month from revenue. Didn't have as much in there as I was told we had in there in January, but nonetheless, one of the reasons this account had taken a hit is because we started a new program called Hentevi. It's a pediatrics program. It's kind of hard to explain. It's protocols. It's becoming a new national standard, so we're in it. Hopefully the state's going to start paying for it, but that costs us a pretty good chunk to get that established. It's on your phone. You click in, it's going to tell you everything about that pediatric patient, drugs, airways, all that stuff. So it's kind of like having that in the palm of your hand. Because if you've never done that call before, it's pretty stressful. But nonetheless, this is a great thing. It really makes a difference. We also weren't allowed to get our controlled drugs anymore at the hospitals. This is a statewide thing, so we had to get a state pharmacy license. Then after that, we had to get certified by the DEA to get a DEA license so that we can get our own narcotics. It's a huge secured thing that we have to go through to get these narcotics, except for when they send them back to us FedEx along with the toilet paper and everything else. Crazy, but anyway, that cost us a chunk of money last year to get that taken care of, but we're all good to go there. And I had about $8,000 worth of uncashed checks that needed to go back into that account. So I'm working to try to get that back, but same deal. Those people, the Salem Township and Hamilton Township Fire, bought supplies from us, paid us back, but checks never got back into the account. So I'm working to try to get some of that money recouped. So I wanted to put this 10 grand into that account just to help us get through. Plus things are costing a little bit more. We may have to look at that down the road anyway. So.
Mike, have all the questionable transactions been identified, or are you still discovering stuff?
No, I think we've pretty much got a handle. I can't promise you 100%, but
Understand.
I didn't see any. Well, I can't. Never mind. So yes.
Other questions?
I'd like to mention that I appreciate you trying to find the money within instead of coming to 1,000.
Yeah.
So checks were delivered, checks were cashed, but not entered into the system.
They
Nope.
weren't even cash.
It's
They
called
weren't in cash.
winning cash. It's quietus, right? Yep. That's a challenging process in itself for somebody like me, but nonetheless, I figured it out.
How
So
long would those checks be good?
none of those they're all, what are they?
Expired.
Yeah, that's a good word, yeah. But I'm working with Salem Township and Hamilton Township to try to recoup the cost.
Somewhere their books couldn't have balanced.
Yeah, we've already identified what wasn't cash, but they're in a new year too, so we gotta do some work to try to, somebody's gonna have to stand up somewhere like I'm standing up here right now to take care of last year, so that's on there. So,
Other questions? Roll call, please.
Ms. Flanagan.
Yes.
Mr. Whitehead.
Yes.
Ms. Piper.
Yes.
Ms. Mokel.
Yes.
Mr. Bookout.
Yes.
Mr. Cantz.
Yes.
Mr. Hughes.
Yes.
well, thank you very much. Please reach out to me at any time.
Thank
Thank
you.
Appreciate it.
129 sheriff to 155 EMS, 129, 363 repair and maintenance, negative 726 and 16 cents. 155, 363 repairs and maintenance, positive 726 and 16 cents. Total transfer 0.
Move to approve?
Second.
Motion by Jessica, second by Dan. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning. Nancy Marvin, Sheriff's Office. This is a bill that was paid by EMS that was actually a sheriff's bill. But because it's from 2025, we had to transfer the money through a major transfer back to EMS.
Questions? Roll call, please.
Ms. Flanagan.
Yes.
Mr. Whitehead.
Yes.
Ms. Piper.
Yes.
Mr. Mokel.
Yes.
Mr. Bookout.
Yes.
Cantz.
Yes.
Mr. Hughes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Motion to approve financial transfers and to amend salary ordinance with like reductions.
Second.
Motion by Eugene, second by Dan. Roll call.
Ms. Flanagan.
Yes.
Mr. Whitehead.
Yes.
Mr. Mokel.
Yes.
Mr. Bookout.
Yes.
Ms. Piper.
Yes.
Mr. Cantz.
Yes.
Mr. Hughes.
Yes.
I'll make the motion to receive the backfilling report.
And I will second.
Motion by Jessica, second by Dan to receive the backfilling report. We have 2 employees, 1 jail, 1 communication center. Any questions on that? Roll call.
Ms. Flanagan.
Yes.
Mr. Whitehead.
Yes.
Mr. Mokel.
Yes.
Mr. Bookout.
Yes.
Ms. Piper.
Yes.
Mr. Cantz.
Yes.
Mr. Hughes.
Yes. Moving on to ordinances and resolutions, we have resolution number 2026-001, resolution of the Delaware County Council ratifying ARP appropriations for balances as of January 1st for the years 2024, 2025, and 2026. Commissioner Brand.
Yep.
Good
Good morning, Council. Stephen Brand, Delaware County Commissioner's Office. You read it, Mr. Hughes. What's in front of you is a resolution to ratify the ARP appropriations for the years 2026 and additionally 2024 and 2025. The rules for ARP have been ever evolving and changing, and it's the recommendation that they should be ratified each year. They weren't before. It was done, I believe, originally in 2022. And I think the belief at that time was that was enough for the entire program. But again, as the rules have evolved, we believe it's in our best interest and the suggestion of the State Board of Accounts to capture all 3 years.
Questions?
Have we made a motion to approve it yet?
No.
Motion to approve resolution 2026-01.
Second. Motion by Eugene, second by Dan. Okay, now we're on record. Questions? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Ms. Flanagan.
Yes.
Mr. Whitehead.
Yes.
Mr. Mokel.
Yes.
Mr. Bookout.
Yes.
Ms. Piper.
Yes.
Mr. Cantz.
Yes.
Mr. Hughes.
Yes,
Thank you.
thank you. Now we have joint resolution number 2026-100, a joint resolution of the Delaware County Council and the Delaware County Board of Commissioners authorizing a countywide financial and administrative. 101. We're doing 101 first?
Well, it's how it's on the agenda.
That is on the agenda.
Prerogative.
My mistake. Joint resolution number 2026-101, a joint resolution of the Delaware County Council and Delaware County Board of Commissioners establishing payroll internal controls, segregation of duties, and approval requirements to protect public funds. Entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Jessica, second by Dan. Ed, do you want to address this?
Sure. So essentially what this resolution's for is to protect the public funds. That's the bottom line. But there's outlines described in here that addresses concerns we have about the payroll process, to segregation of duties, and other things that are outlined in this resolution to address going forward.
So some of the key pieces of this are the segregation of duties, as Ed mentioned, puts in a 3-level payroll control structure. There's preparation, there's approval, and then review and processing. Dual approval requirements. So all department payroll submissions must include a certification by the payroll preparer, and then approval by department head or elected official, which I think Eugene wants to talk about. But then number 2 is the preparer shall not serve as the approving authority, which is the biggest change in my opinion. And then there's some self-pay controls about, inability to adjust your own pay level, and then an auditor review requirement as well. So, and then there's a section in here relative to a time clock. If there is a time clock in place, I assume, Ed, that means,
Yes,
which currently only one department has a time clock system.
correct.
And then, okay. So, Eugene, you want to talk about the approval by the department head or elected official?
If I may, I'd like to start somewhere else, Matt.
Okay.
In section 5, number 2, which is on page 2 of the handout that we received, it says no individual shall approve their own payroll. I believe that should say no individual shall prepare and approve their own payroll. But I'd like to get clarification from either legal or the auditor regarding that.
Be prepare or
Prepare and,
and.
I mean, as I am reading this, an elected official or department head is going to approve, or as we get into it later, an appointed person, but going to approve the entire payroll, being the second set of eyes on it. So in reality, they will be approving possibly their own payroll. And the way I think these self-pay controls should read is they're not going to be able to prepare and approve it both. Now, whether it says it somewhere else in here, I just think specifically there, it needs to state it as well. But like I said, I'd like to get clarification from either legal or the auditor on why it's written that way specifically.
In terms of the intent behind the resolution, I didn't draft it, so I'd have to defer to the auditor's office, but I believe the structure is supposed to be such that an individual from the department inputs everything into the system, but then there has to be somebody that reviews it, signs off on it afterward, which is presumably going to be the department head or the elected official. So to your point, they wouldn't be inputting the numbers, but they would be approving their own pay. So I think your, unless Ed feels otherwise, but I think your correction or amendment makes sense. Because somebody has to ultimately say this is approved and press the button, which would include their own payroll.
Ed, what is your opinion?
Well, if someone else is entering it, I mean, at some point in time, someone has to hit the button and submit pay. Everybody's got to get paid. What language are you? So what, if we modified the languages, go back to the commissioners?
Correct.
I do have another suggestion, so we can take them under advisement, or we can amend it and pass it back to them.
But what are we amending? I'm confused.
And I would like to, if add language to it, that's amending it.
No, I know, but what is it you want to amend?
But
Or what
in
do you want
line
it to
two, I'd
say?
like to specifically say, no individual shall prepare and approve their own payroll.
So to me, that's just plain devil's advocate. Because to Ben's point, in most departments, they're preparing their own payroll by providing a self-prepared timesheet or spreadsheet that they fill out, or whatever the manual process is today, because we don't have time clocks that clock in and out. So it is a honor system as it stands today, right? So does preparing the payroll mean they've documented their hours and turned them in? I guess is my question, because if it is, then that means they can't do that anymore. So that would be that's why I'm confused, because I think the process is broken as it is. This is a
way to
it's
fix
a stopgap to try to prevent fraud, but ultimately without time clocks, people are still self-preparing their own hours. Am I wrong about that, Ed?
I think it's pretty, the issue goes away once you put time clocks in.
Right, but I mean, in terms of Eugene's request for the language change, are we saying that people then can't create their own time card or their own time sheet?
They can't create it and then also approve it. Which would mean there should be redundancies in there, which the rest of it says that way, that you can't. If it specifically says you can't approve your own payroll, then it also should say you can't approve and prepare it.
Right, I'm trying to get clarity on preparation, what is preparing your own time, your own payroll mean? And if it's just simply they can't put it into VIP, that seems totally logical. If it's you can't create your own time card, that's something that was what I'm trying to get. Maybe
It needs to be a little more clear then on preparing and approving in our payroll system.
Yeah.
Ed, if I can ask a question quick, in section 9, it contemplates the auditor's office developing a comprehensive formal implementation plan. Is that plan going to define some of these terms that may resolve some of the questions?
The workflow will address it. I mean, currently we have it set up so that the person who enters it, the approver, can't be the same person. It won't allow the same person to
the person who puts it in VIP can't be the same person that approves it.
Correct,
Gotcha.
before it gets to our office.
Right. Okay. And if
So-
that's the definition, then that's probably, to his point, correct.
That's the wording you want installed in this clause is what he said.
I think if it's gonna say you can't approve your own, I think it should say prepare and approve, or it needs to be taken out.
I think Eugene's point makes sense because you're gonna have an issue where the department head may not be inputting their own payroll into the system, but as it's currently written, they wouldn't be able to approve the payroll entry for themselves that was input by somebody else because they can't approve their own pay. So currently, everybody would be able to get paid except for the person signing off on the overall approval. And maybe, and that's why I asked about definitions, because some of these terms, like payroll preparation, to Matt's point, does that mean putting it into the system, or does that mean literally filling out your own time card? So
Well-
some of these probably need to be defined so that we can know specifically when an individual is engaging in that activity that might trigger a prohibition or something like that.
But that's a great example, Ben, because ultimately, let's say Nancy puts in the payroll and she puts her own in there. She can't approve it, but she does everybody's payroll, including her own. So she's preparing it and it gets approved upstream. If we say we can't prepare it, then she wouldn't be able to put her own payroll in. Somebody else will have to do that too. So that seems like an undue burden, I would
I'm
think.
saying that she could put her own in there, but then somebody else has to approve it. Or if she's the approver,
You are, but you're
somebody
saying-
else puts her time information in,
Right, that's,
and
a-
then she's
that's an extra step.
and hers, and then she's responsible for approving it. It says here that she can't approve their own, her own payroll.
It says she can't approve it, but you want to add that she can't prepare her own payroll either.
That she can't both prepare
Can't do
and
both.
approve.
That was the and.
I'm not saying or, I'm saying and.
It
One
sure says
person can't
always
do
two
both,
people.
which I believe is the intent of this.
I'm agreeing with you.
And I guess, my other suggestion is going to throw even bigger monkey wrench into it. Maybe I should have started with that one. And I got this, I wish our sheriff was still here, but based off of his explanation of payroll, he didn't want to be burdened with it because there's already 3 sets of entry information that goes into it for time. But in section 4, as well as section 1, it states that approval by the department head or elected official. And I would recommend, based off of the sheriff's testimony, that we add appointed or approved individual could also be in that specific line.
Not necessarily just a department head or elected official.
Right.
Somebody assigned to
But the
do
way I
so.
read it anyway is you're gonna have a second person that can do this approval anyway, because if that elected official or department head is on vacation or sick or out for a significant time, you have to have at least a second person to be able to do this.
So in section 4, item 1, the second bullet point, if it said approval by the department head or elected official or designee,
I'm fine with that. Whatever covers what the intent is on what I think the sheriff was asking for.
are you moving to amend the resolution to make those 2 changes? Section 5(2) to read no individual shall prepare and approve their own payroll. Section 4, paragraph 1, bullet point 2, approval by the department head or elected official or designee. That's your motion?
There may be more.
Oh, there may be more.
In section 5, number 1, it says payroll entries affecting the payroll preparer's compensation must receive explicit review and approval by the department head or elected official. I think or designee should be added there as well.
Be there as well.
And then that would be all the amendments that I would like to suggest
Okay.
as a motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Motion by Eugene, second by Jessica. Comments on those amendments?
I mean, maybe I'm just not smart, but I still think it's a burden on number 2 to add Shall prepare and approve their own payroll.
Just means it's two sets of eyes you're gonna have to look at. Is the intent.
But I guess from a real use case scenario, that's what I'm trying to understand. So again, back to the Nancy example, sorry, Nancy. But since you have a large payroll, in her case, who prepares her payroll? Nancy?
The entire payrool or
No,
just-
her payroll.
Just her.
Somebody else will have to prepare her payroll explicitly. Or let's say in Gavin's case, he's got, Rhiannon is creating it, and he has to create his own if he had to, which you don't, but you know, how does that work? Because again, we're adding another person into the equation to that. So
Right, so if
I'm
Nancy
just trying to be-
prepares her time card,
Mhm.
one of the captains or
Right.
sheriff, first deputy would be responsible for.
But then a third
approving
person
it.
would then also have to approve it, because that same person who prepared it wouldn't be the
She
approval.
can't prepare and approve.
She
can
can't, I know.
prepare
Yes,
or she can approve,
right.
but she can't do both.
She can't do her own, correct. That's what I'm getting at.
She
She can't
put it
approve
in
her own.
and approve it. She can put it in,
She can put it in.
but she can't approve it. That's why it's and,
Sure.
okay. Not or.
Yes, we have.
No,
Do both sides.
I know, that's what I'm getting at. But Pat didn't understand.
So what happens, whether it's the road or the jail? Yes, the jail all goes in on the time clock. All those time clock readings then get sent to Angel Brashear. Angel Brashear puts all the time into the time clock, including her own, into the payroll system. I understand what we're getting ready to do now. So she's our inputter. We now have two other people who can approve. Once all her stuff is done, then she has to hand everything off to them. They have to go through it and they have to approve it to submit it off. On our side, the road guys do their time. They're on the schedule. Their leaders take and approve their time, which then goes to Captain Johnson. And Captain Johnson then inputs all of it into payroll. Now we're going to have another person then who's going to look over it again. So ours actually gets 3 sets of eyes across it already before it's submitted. I only do my 3 people, including my own, yes, in the sheriff's office, but then that also goes to Captain Johnson for him to have to approve. And then it still can't be submitted until a third person looks at it with this new process. So we are already doing 3.
So if we changed it to you cannot prepare and approve your own payroll.
That's
So
really,
you would just prepare your own payroll? And then somebody else will approve it going forward.
really, that's what you're doing now.
Right, that is
Yep.
what I'm doing now, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, granted, yes, I am putting in for my payroll and the 2 people that are under me. But then Captain Johnson has to
Okay.
actually submit it into the system.
Okay.
And it has to get approved then by a third person.
I didn't realize
If
the jail
I
used time
may
clocks. That's
make
great.
a point
Yeah,
real
in the
quick.
jail.
As we're listening here, you're already hearing that the elected official or department head is not the approving person.
Right.
So adding designee, I think, is important to this.
Yes. All right. Thanks for sticking with me there. Sure.
Are those preparers currently now of those payrolls, are they bonded in any way?
No.
No.
Gavin,
Gavin Green, Delaware County Coroner. The one thing that I just wanted to, by definition, and understand is prepare. Because we are, and again, it's going to be, I think the system, what we're trying to change, I think it's good. But the whole definition of prepare, meaning are they clocking in and clocking out? Is that the preparation right there? Or is it just looking in VIP to make sure that it's, the whole thing of prepare, that's where I'm getting confused, because if we have an employee that's clocking in and clocking out, preparing it is entering all of that report into VIP. That's where I'm confused about, because I know that HR or I can approve Rhiannon's time. But the whole definition of prepare and approve that's where I'm a little confused about. So the whole, they can't prepare and approve, that I don't know who is preparing and approving their own. Like, I don't approve my own, but mine gets put in on VIP and Rhiannon submits it.
So
So really, we need a definition of prepare saying, basically from my understanding, Eugene, he's welcome to correct me, is that it's who's inputting it into VIP would be the preparer. Is that what we're alluding to?
I believe that's the definition we've received. Because preparing, if I were to put in that Rhiannon worked 90 hours, I prepared her timesheet and I approved it, well, that goes against the whole approving system right there because I could be falsifying it right there.
Yeah.
So you can't prepare and approve.
Right,
So
she
that's-
would have to prepare it, and you would have to approve.
And then it's on the whoever the approver was.
Yes,
Okay.
that's my understanding of the intent here, that Eugene's asking for.
Right.
Separating duties. One person puts it in to VIP, another person looks it over and says, yes, Brianna worked 120 hours.
Right.
So the bottom line is, because we don't have time clocks, this is the issue. That's part of the reason we'll be coming to you in reference to time clocks. This all becomes a moot point
Yeah.
because of the process that we'll establish.
Yeah,
So we can play
Devil's advocate.
dictionary all day long, define all these terms. At the end of the day, if we put time clocks in, fix it.
Does the jail time card system flow to VIP?
But the new
I
system.
think I remember that being an issue before. So is it only the highway department that flows to VIP? Does that flow to VIP?
It currently doesn't. It supposedly can, but it doesn't.
Purpose. now.
That's where we're looking at a new system.
And then to play devil's advocate, I know that each department's going to be, I think that we need something in place, but sheriff's department's going to be different, highway department's going to be different, coroner's office is going to be different. So if we say, hey, as soon as we put in a time clock system, that's going to help, all of my deputies do not clock in and clock out. They're on a per case basis. So we don't know, then we'll be preparing / submitting and approving.
Well, even time card systems have manual entry
Right, yeah.
abilities. So
All right, thank you.
Tanya?
Hi, Tanya Dunsmore, Chief Deputy Auditor. I think a more proper word instead of prepare is submit. One person submits and then it's approved. Just like Nancy, she enters it into the system. However, she has to hit the submit button for the approver to be able to see it and approve it.
And section 4, paragraph 1 says all departmental payroll submissions must include certification by the preparer and approval by the department head or elected official or designee. So submission seems to be the first step,
Mm-hmm.
and then approval is the second step.
Yeah.
I agree with that. I think that's actually much better definition because that's the actual, that's.
And enter into
If you had
the
a flow
financial
chart, It
system.
would be prepare, it would be submit, because that's
Mhm.
what triggers the.
Because I
next step.
think, for your sake, Matt, prepare to you're thinking of the individual who actually does their timesheet, and I understand that
Was an issue.
concept as well, so.
Thank you.
So if we change in section 3, line 1, payroll preparation to payroll submission, that clarify it? Ed, what do you think?
Would you say that section one more time, Bill?
Section 3, line 1, says the county adopts a 3-level payroll control structure. Line 1 would be payroll submission, which would be the department level. Number 2, payroll approval, which would be department head or elected official, and we'd want to put or designee in there, I assume.
Correct.
And then 3 is independent review and processing by county auditor.
And then in section 4, number 1, all department payroll submissions must include certification by the payroll submitter?
It is now.
Okay,
And then in 2, the submitter.
submitter.
down to section 5, it also says, so section 5, bullet 1, affecting the payroll submitter's compensation.
And then number 2, instead of saying prepare and approve, say submit and approve and approve.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're in section 2.
Section 5.
5,
bullet
number 2 is original.
Section 2 of work preparations should be submission. Okay, what I have at this point, the following changes. Section 2 under applicability would read, this resolution applies to all county departments, offices, and personnel involved in payroll submission, approval, processing, and review. Section 3 would read, the county adopts a 3-level payroll control structure. Number 1, payroll submission, department level. Number 2, payroll approval, department head or elected official or designee. Number 3, independent review and processing, county auditor. Section 4, line 1 reads, all departmental payroll submissions must include certification by the payroll submitter and approval by the department head or elected official or designee. Number 2 would read, the submitter shall not serve as the approving authority. Section 5, number 1 would read, payroll entries affecting the payroll submitter's compensation must receive explicit review and approval by the department head or elected official or designee. Line 2 would be, no individual shall prepare and shall submit and approve their own payroll. That's all the changes I have. That my tracking.
Since we're modifying all these, I got one other suggestion.
Okay.
It's in reference to a conference I had last week with the auditors, and it was suggested that people are involved with the payroll process be bonded. They could actually fall under the county's umbrella, but they would have to receive a bond if they're not handling the funds. In this case, they'd be handling funds. That was their recommendation.
Is that for all submitters and approvers?
If you're involved with touching the money. That was the answer they gave me. If you're gonna touch the funds, then you should be, because each elected official has their bonded. And I was told a year ago that people in my office would fall under that. But now they're saying, anyone handling funds should be bonded individually. That's a fairly inexpensive investment to make for your county.
It's really archaic right now because Indiana code requires members of a county redevelopment commission who don't touch the money to be bonded. But repairs, payroll are not required by Indiana code. It's just a recommendation. So I agree with you that it should be taking place. I don't know what the cost is, but
I was going to say, I think we would need to have a conversation with our carrier regarding cost and process, how to get all those.
I think it extends beyond what we're discussing here today to do that action, receive quotes, and understand who's in place to do that.
I agree.
And how many would be eliminated when we actually had time cards?
Yeah, it might be cheaper to buy time clocks.
Yeah.
If you would look into that for us, Ed, we'd appreciate it. I think we could add that in later. Is consensus here?
Yes,
I think
it's
as
just a
time clocks,
recommendation.
There are still
recommendation.
ways that someone can misappropriate.
Oh, this is,
funding.
yeah.
So that,
This
I mean,
is one,
is,
one minor step.
I think it's a legitimate conversation all the way around.
Agreed.
Did you have something, Tanya?
Yes, Tanya Dunsmore, Chief Deputy Auditor. Mr. Hughes, I just wanted to question what you just read as far as Section 5, number 2. You said no individual shall prepare and submit
No, I
and
think
approve?
Submit or approve. Submit and approve.
Okay, okay.
Should be submit and approve.
I did hear all three, so I was just like
Yeah. I
questioning that to
stuttered,
make
I
sure.
suspect.
Thank you.
We can go ahead and approve.
Is there a motion to amend Joint Resolution 2026-101 with the amendments as I read them?
Can those just be friendly amendments to what I
Sure.
already added?
Go for it.
I'd like to include those as friendly changes to my motion to amend.
No, I'll close those into my second, yeah.
Okay, we have on the floor a motion to amend 2026-101 as read. Any other questions? Roll call on the amendment.
Ms. Flanagan.
Yes.
Mr. Whitehead.
Yes.
Mr. Mokel.
Yes.
Mr. Bookout.
Yes.
Ms. Piper.
Yes.
Mr. Cantz.
Yes.
Mr. Hughes.
Yes. Now we're back on Joint Resolution 2026-101 as amended. Any further questions or comments? This will go back to the commissioners for them to agree to our changes. Roll call, please.
Ms. Flanagan.
Yes.
Mr. Whitehead.
Yes.
Mr. Mokel.
Yes.
Mr. Bookout.
Yes.
Ms. Piper.
Yes.
Mr. Cantz.
Yes.
Mr. Hughes.
Yes. Good discussion. Now we have Joint Resolution 2026-100, a joint resolution of the Delaware County Council and Delaware County Board of Commissioners authorizing a countywide financial and administrative system modernization initiative, quote, one touch, close quote, to strengthen financial controls, audit compliance, and transparency. Is there a motion to adopt Joint Resolution 2026-100?
So moved.
I'll second.
Motion by Jessica, second by Dan. Discussion.
There were some questions about credit card authorization, credit card purchases. Did we get those clarified?
What do you mean?
Seemed like you're asking a thing. Anyway, basically, they couldn't put something on the credit card until they had an approval from you for your department. Or,
We don't pre-approve credit card use. It's outlined in the ordinance.
okay, that's what I thought, but then there was some question about this language and that language contradicting each other. But I didn't see it in here, and I wanted to make sure.
I don't know where that would be. That's the reason I asked for clarification, because I don't know where it actually says anything like that there.
Okay.
Yeah, do we have a presentation on the one touch that we might?
Yes, we do.
Be an appropriate time.
Yeah. Or they're
Please,
chomping at
please,
the bit after
please,
listening.
please introduce yourself and identify your company and
Absolutely. While I'm setting this up, we were here last week, so thank you for welcoming us back. We are OpenGov, and I'm Samantha Grabovac. I am the account executive for asset and work order management, and I'll pass it over to my colleagues to say hello.
Morning. My name's James Dwyer. I'm also with OpenGov, and I'm our permitting and licensing account executive.
Good morning. My name is Brian Brighton. I'm the Director of Sales for the Central Territory at OpenGov. It's a pleasure to be here today.
Hey, Kyle or somebody, the TVs are not on.
And I think for the live streamers, I don't know if they see these slides, so we'll make sure to say everything. They will not. Okay, so we'll make sure to say everything back as well.
So while they're getting ready, I did speak with Samantha. I was at the commissioner meeting where they presented. They're going to be showing a little bit, hopefully, of some detail to kind of help everybody understand, you know, a little bit better about what's coming. I think it's a little bit hard to wade through the marketing lingo to get some of this, to understand really how it's going to impact, you know, our county potentially. So that's what they're here to do.
Thank you. Yeah, and I appreciate you setting the scene on that. We had some takeaways from last week. This week we'll focus on exactly what today would look like versus what tomorrow would look like. For some context, we have been working with Ed, with multiple of the commissioners, a few of the city council members, and overall teams, right, to do software demonstrations and endless conversations since about September or October. So what we've taken away from that is, we've seen that right now current processes are very people dependent, very manual, right? We see this in government. We are purpose built, so we only work with governments, specifically local municipalities, state and local, as well as special districts. We work with Muncie Sanitary District down the road. So from taking away these conversations, right, we wanted to come here and tell you what we're about and what we've discussed. We are here to discuss a contract that we actually gave these numbers back in December. So we have honored a 40% discount on our software through signatures in May. That brings us to a software proration of $127,006, and then a one-time implementation of $80,880.80, excuse me. That is for 3 products. I did not mention that we are a current vendor. So you all utilize our budgeting and performance module or product. So we'll be just discussing how we can make that a stronger investment, as well as our permitting and licensing and enterprise asset management products. Any questions so far? We'll discuss what that looks like. I know that's a lot of buzzwords, right? So we'll get into that today. Like I mentioned, asset management, permitting and licensing, as well as performance management. 3 different products, 1 vendor or 1 platform is what we like to say. We are a full ERP. So getting started with asset management, that enterprise asset management, the first functionality would be facilities management. So today, work requests come in by phone call, email, sticky note, hallway conversation, right? Central queue is lacking. In-house staff don't necessarily share a system or a process, right? That's very repeatable. That's our goal here. So duplicates could fall through. The question comes up, when was this last serviced? How much did it cost? I know earlier we were talking about papers stacking to the sky, right? And then end of year reports take time. I know that in our conversations, we found that to be weeks and sometimes months because data is scattered across departments. So everything from buildings to HVAC to grounds and the work orders or work tasks to keep them running. So tomorrow, what would that look like, right? We would intake into 1 platform. So requests from residents, staff, inspectors, the process would be the same for very different types of work or tasks. Y'all are probably wondering asset management, and I'm talking work as well. A lot of municipalities separate those. What we do is we bring them together, but it's not duplicate entry, right? So field crew, we want to make that as simple as possible. We were talking those clocks, right? We actually have a stopwatch functionality in our software where field crew could press that when they've started and stopped, and we can add controls behind the scenes. So it's as easy as clicking a button or snapping a picture when this work is being input. That is what operators should be focused on, right? And then you all will be able to 1-click report and actually asset manage based off of the work that they're already doing. So think in facilities, we associate condition scores to that facility of it's crumbling, it's actually out of 100. It's crumbling or it's doing really well. When do we need to repair or when do we need to replace before it actually crumbles? So that's what you all have the ability to do, while those operators can focus on getting the actual work in to associate condition scores. That creates faster response times, asset history all in one place. Every request is tracked, and then no more duplicate work, defensible capital planning as well. You'll see transportation and public works as another functionality within enterprise asset management. So crews are driving routes from memory, or snow ops and pothole repair, sign replacements. Those are being whiteboarded, or maybe we don't know about them until a citizen calls in, right? The system of record of when was this last inspected, or when was this road last paved? How much did this cost? And then we come into meetings like this, and the funding anecdotes rely on those who are actually operating rather than defensible data. If a claim is filed, proving that the work was done takes hours of searching. It could be paper, it could be sticky notes. What does this look like tomorrow with OpenGov? So we are actually GIS based. Anything that you have living in Esri or your GIS today, it's like two friends talking on the phone. No duplicate entry there. So if you're editing something or an asset in Esri, then that will communicate right back over, or Beacon, or what your GIS provider is. Field crews can log work from a phone, a tablet, a desktop, and all of those interfaces look the same. So it's easier to learn, right? We actually changed that in the last year because we take feedback from our customers. That's really important to us. And we heard that we're not talking the same language behind the desk that we are out in the field. Snowplow routes, we can optimize those based off of map and add a calendar functionality. So I call out sick, then we can drag and drop my work to a different day based off of priority. Capital plans are built on that condition data, and risk and liability is dropped because the record always exists. I mentioned unlimited user model. So that means that each person can have their own login and will have their own login to log their work. So every task is associated to a specific person. As we're talking about fraud, or as we're talking about system of record, very important, because you can easily go back to who logged the work and ask questions. This creates a data-driven plan, stronger liability defense, less reactive, more strategic. Wrap it up with asset management. For fleet management, I know we've been talking a lot about EMS, right? And vehicles, they deteriorate, they have issues. It seems like sometimes those vehicles that are newer are in the shop more than the vehicles that might be older. I see some smiling, so it sounds like we've heard that before. Mechanics are often working from paper sheets. Preventative maintenance might get skipped because the schedule is fluid. Repair history is living in those filing cabinets, or vehicles fail unexpectedly, right? And then there are emergency rates to fix them. So also when a mechanic leaves, or when anyone leaves, there is institutional knowledge lost. What this looks like tomorrow, we can set it and forget it, right? So the system should be reminding you both the work that needs to be done, but also the repairs that need to be made, and replacements that also need to be made. Fewer emergency repairs, right size replacement budget helps for planning, and you can audit these records really at any time, given you have the controls to do so behind the scenes. I always like to put some numbers behind what I'm talking about, right? Here are some real results from real governments. I have it in the next slide as well, and you'll see that throughout today. But 1,500 staff hours saved annually. That was in Rosemont, Minnesota, just from switching over from true paper-based work order processes to a process that is repeatable each time. Call out here is we know that each department runs extremely differently, and this allows each department to run and operate the way that they need to, but the data is all stored in one place for you all to be able to have that visibility. Windsor, Colorado, 520 hours saved per snow season. They were able to use maps to segment out where they were sending crews. We get it in the Midwest, right? That snow, you never know when it's going to come. It could be in the middle of summer, right? Colorado Springs had an 80% drop in vehicle claim damages and created a multi-year road plan. Here's just a few other statistics for y'all to look at. I mean, budget increases because you're able to come with defensible data of the work that's already being done. 55% increase in work order completion, 50% faster response to hazardous spills, 40% increase in task completion. Again, I mean, Any other questions on numbers that you're seeing here?
Hours saved don't always equate to personnel.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you basically have the same number of personnel.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we haven't downsized personnel.
So what this does is it gives you that, first of all, time back, right? And then you're able to audit where you need to utilize resources, or maybe where you have too many resources, or where you don't have enough resources.
So you're combining increased efficiency to the service and the work that's getting done with the potential of attrition. This isn't OpenGov's responsibility from an attrition standpoint. They're there to save us money, or to save us time and other things. But then, theoretically, again, between attrition, work hours, things of that nature, that would be the goal. How we execute on this, obviously, is paramount. Sorry. Go ahead.
Absolutely. No. And that's, you bring up a really good fact. Our implementation takes time for a reason. That is, probably closer to a 9-month process. We always say 6 to 9 months. We meet you where you're at. We understand that no county or city or state even is operating the same way. We try to replicate what's working in other counties specifically, or cities or your neighbors. And we also are not going to say day one, you need to be tracking labor, equipment, resources. We'll have a discussion on what specifically you want to track, and then we create goalposts over the first 3 months, 6 months, 9 months. And then we make it very bite-sized pieces for the field crew, for you all, right? It's not the same implementation per person. We're also never going to speed it up if someone doesn't understand, right? We slow down. That's why we do our implementation at a fixed cost. We end up spending more time implementing typically than we account for when we charge you all.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Performance management lives within our budgeting and performance product. So today, each department tracks its own goals, typically on a spreadsheet or at all, right? Leadership, there's no single dashboard to see where the county actually stands. Budget relies on more memory-based discussions. Even from last week, I think the word transparency came up over and over, right? With performance management and transparency, you're able to create goals and publish those on your website to be more transparent towards here's where we're sitting towards our goal, or even here's what our goals are. So this is making your budgeting and performance module or product that you currently have a stronger investment by being able to public face what you want to. If there's no other questions, I'm going to pass it off for permitting and licensing.
Thank you, Samantha. Similar to going through the asset management and performance pieces of this, I wanted to go through what permitting looks like today for you all and what it can look like with OpenGov. For this, we'll focus predominantly on building inspections, health permits, and planning and zoning approvals. My understanding is today applications are done by walk-in, phone call, email, or paper packets. This leads to missed fields being filled out by the applicants, as well as a lot of phone tag to make sure all of the correct information is at hand. Staff manually checking that fields are filled in, leading to additional phone tag, leading to the potential for this going through the process and not necessarily being correct. All of you operating in silos. So if there is a project going on within the county that maybe building and planning need to be a part of, sometimes this can get missed unless they're taking this offline, as there's no central place to find this information. Inspections, I know those today are done by carrying a pen and paper out in the field, leading to you all having to go back into the office and then doing that again manually. Lastly, residents calling into the front desk and taking time away from you all being able to go through this and do other things with your day. What this can look like with OpenGov, I think the most important thing will be our online public portal. This gives applicants the ability to not only apply online, but for us to be able to work with you all to require certain fields that this doesn't reach your desk until it's filled out correctly. Additionally, as we mentioned with the phone tag, we give them all the ability to ask you questions through OpenGov's public portal so that you all have one central source of truth and can cut down on some of those emails and phone calls that you all receive today. Secondly, we work with you all to take the workflows that you have in place today and take that online. So what that really looks like is, when we mentioned earlier the departments operating in silos, if there is a project where you have planning, building, maybe even engineering are all involved, this can all be done in one place, and communication can be streamlined through that process to make it very easy for everyone to see exactly what's required of them in each permit. From there, another important piece is going to be inspections. We have a mobile app that inspectors can use out in the field, and this was purpose built for inspections. As I'm sure you all know, specific areas within the county may have challenges with internet, and we've accounted for that. So if they are in a place where they don't have access to internet, they can still go out and fill out that inspection, and it will then cache once they're getting back to the office or somewhere where they have stable connection. So this is a huge time save for them all out in the field to be able to come back and not have to focus on writing that back down. Lastly, and I think probably most importantly, is going to be that overall improved customer experience. Applicants today seemingly have to make a lot of phone calls, have to come in, and both for you all from the customer side, from what we're able to provide you, again, it's that time back. And for applicants, it's the ability to do everything from, as mentioned earlier, initial application, as well as being able to see where their permit is in the process, making payments online, and receiving notifications online. So I think just to highlight this slide in general, the most important things to note are going to be the ability for you all to issue permits a lot faster, capturing more fees, as this will all be done online, and fewer phone calls for the staff. Any questions on this piece before I move on? I think it's important to note we have we've been fortunate enough to have roughly 650 partnerships across permitting and licensing. I wanted to highlight a few here just to make specific call outs to what I think is similar to the use case that you all have. First, you'll see Madison, Indiana. One of their code enforcement officers said the biggest benefit that he's seen with this is he has the ability to go in and see exactly what's required of him across each case that he's involved in, making it a lot easier for him to be organized and move throughout his day. Second would be New Canaan, Connecticut. We partner with them for health permitting specifically. And the big reason that they came over to us was they felt that they might be missing certain fees because they were collecting this via pen and paper. They had a goal to reach $800,000 in fee captured by the end of the year, and were able to hit $1 million in the first 6 months, as they were able to just capture these other fees that were slipping due to the manual processes in place. And then lastly, Sandy Springs, Georgia. This was a fast growing community that we partnered with for planning and zoning and building inspections. And I think two important things to note here: as they continue to grow, they just made the note that they could not keep up with that growth. And now they're able to do up to 80 inspections in a single day. And from the public side, one of the biggest benefits that they saw was they were constantly being asked about how many cases are open or where their case sits. Now the public has the ability to go on and has that access to do it without making the phone call. And it's led to just a more transparent experience for all of those within the city.
Thanks, James. So I think what you're going to hear today from us up here is the two words transparency and accountability. And that's everything that we're trying to drive and to help you drive in your community. So as we go through this, we want to look at the change and what we're bringing to you every single day and basing that on the targets that we're bringing with it. So baseline and targets: in the first 90 days, we set baselines and permit or turnaround with order completion and revenue captured. We agreed that with Ed and reported back to council. Okay. Monthly council reporting: this is an automatically generated report that'll come back to you consistently without any overhead involved in that. Public facing dashboard: this is a huge upside to what your transparency can be to the public as you go through this process. And then the internal audit controls: what you have the capabilities of doing internally now is unparamounted compared to where it's at before. Okay, so how OpenGov prevents fraud, waste, and error. So you're going to see two different sides: built-in system controls, visibility, and oversight. So I'll run through the built-in system controls first. Role-based permissions, segregation of duties, multi-step approval workflows, tamper-proof audit trail, required field and data validation, and automated alerts. All of these things will drive exactly what this conversation has been today in this room. We will help you drive the transparency and your capabilities to stay on top of everything. And the visibility and oversight: audit ready on demand, asset accountability, fee and revenue reconciliation, vendor controls, public facing transparency, and internal audit support. This is incredibly important as we're talking through this and what your visibility is outward and inward. Any questions on this? So what we're asking today is a conversation around a signature today, which will drive us through a July 1st implementation start date. We have been in great conversation since October of last year, going through diligence, going through the demos, multiple demos, to make sure that this is the right tool that fits the need of the city, or of the council. And that we think that at this point in time, we were able to hold the 40% discount through the end of this month. And we are really looking forward to continue the conversation and implementation. Any questions?
Thank you.
Yep.
I always appreciate when salespeople, take their customers' recommendations to heart. So this was great, and except for the last slide, because ultimately we don't approve a contract. Commissioners approve a contract. We're gonna say yay or nay to this joint resolution, which is really just a stamp of approval from our side that we agree this is the direction we should be heading towards. But ultimately, the contract will come from the commissioners. This was very helpful in the real world examples. I mean, we are not going to modernize Delaware County without a full-blown ERP or some centralized system that allows us some insight, without an insight, regardless of the people sitting at this desk or any other desk for that matter, which is what we've been lacking. And we just talked about, ad nauseum about payroll and other things. So I think that this is a huge step forward for us. Couple quick questions. That you say, it says health permits, and I asked Carrie, I got some insight about the Colleen's office. Have you guys met with our health department about their unique needs?
Not specifically. We had a conversation with Ed around the permit types you all have today, and health was one that was noted as being important to be a part of this overview and project.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably not just permits in the health department. There's other
things, like licenses, for instance.
I mean, I would recommend that there obviously be, I know there's a steering committee outlined in this resolution, but, we got to get buy-in. I mean, highway's huge. We've got, obviously our building commissioner's office, health. If they're going to be utilized, I think we should try to get with them sooner rather than later.
So let me give you some background. I have conversations with Jamie. They gave me numbers of permits and et cetera, and how they would like to use a product. We've also had demos with highway and the sheriff with reference to the asset management portion of this product. So those have already taken place, amongst others. But we did preliminary, what I call preliminary assessment with multiple departments, trying to understand what their needs were and quantity, how many permits they submit, how many times they submit them. In some cases, they have to re-enter the same data 2, 3, 4, 5 times. So that was part of the original preliminary assessment. There needs to be a much deeper dive into that. And that's part of the process when we deploy a product like this. We dive deep into what their really needs are. So, like I said, this has been going on since last September, October.
So then then the next question is, how are we paying for it?
Well, so there's actually money in the budget under contract services that could pay for it today.
And this is for the the remaining 6 months, I guess, for this
Remaining
year.
6 months and the deployment.
Mm-hmm.
So there's money in my budget. I could do that. So I had a conversation with State Board of Accounts in reference to this, and because it's already appropriated, I could theoretically move forward with this.
Mm-hmm.
As far as the contract is concerned, the commissioners already signed a contract it's a master service agreement, similar to what we have with Baker Tilly. So the contracts are in place.
Because of our other previous, we already have
Correct.
budgeting and whatever, yeah.
So what we're talking about now is what I would call a statement of work and the dollars associated with that work being done. And like I said, I've already got the money in the budget to do that. I didn't want to make that move without having the council involved in that process. The reason being, that money is really to be used for other contractors, consultants that we have for audits. We didn't do the official appropriation. We missed the deadline to get that done here. But in order to maximize the savings of 40%, we had to have this agreement signed off by the end of May. So that's the reason I went to my budget to look at, and State Board of Accounts had no issue with it. Really up to the council if they wanted to move forward with this. We did come up with the statement of work. And basically, what I'm looking for is it's part of your packet. I've seen it. But what we're looking for is your support financially to move forward with this today so we can maximize the savings.
So, okay. But again, our approval is not binding relative to this, correct? So it's really just we're just blessing it. We're not giving,
well, there's
financial approval.
If you're talking about this document here?
No, I'm talking about this work
Or
order.
joint-
You're calling it a statement of work, which is what I call the services component, but this is a license agreement to add these specific things, and it's also adding them for, 1, 2, 3, 5 years, which again, contractually speaking, I know historically with commissioners, I wouldn't sign a 5-year agreement. And not for, I would, so again, but back to the specific question, which is, we're not signing this.
No, we're just. Ed is asking it to be I guess it'd be an acknowledgement that this is what we're
right
looking at in terms of finances with this project.
Right. What are the outs?
We can't appropriate money for the next 5 years.
No, correct.
Can I clarify just to?
Sure.
If you approve the resolution, we will have to be back for the funds for this year, because while we have money in the contractual services, it's designated. So Ed will be back next month to ask for that money. It's also showing you that there's a signed contract that if you approve this, that he's going to include it in his budget for the next few years too. Just to make you guys aware of the cost of everything.
And the request next month will be $80,880.80.
Yes.
Detail that's in the order number. Other comments or questions?
I'm sorry.
Actually, the request would not be 80,000. It's gonna be the total 126,007.86. Because it's the service and the deployment implementation of the product.
Right. And it shows customer billing service period 6/1 of 26 as 133/529/02. So while I appreciate the May deadline, we're still in Q2.
So
I don't see why May is a definitive other than
yes.
getting started by July 1.
So the July 1 start date allows us to stand you up for the first of the year, or in that beginning of the first year in January.
Right.
So that's what we were shooting at, and that's why we work backwards from the date of where we want to take the implementation. So if it slipped at all, we would be talking about a completely different go live date for when we could stand you up.
So what is the stand-up date?
So the goal here is to have everything ready by the end of this year.
Yeah.
So that we have a full calendar year of data, so you can make a decision for the 28 budget. If we don't do it now, then we can't give you any good information. There's no baseline until 2029. That's a year after the state's saying your decreased revenue is going to come. So I'm trying to get this in a position so you can have a legitimate decision made off of factual data. If not, then you have to guess, because I have no way of giving you that data because it won't be deployed in time.
Yeah.
This does not include time clock.
No, this is not a time clock. There's a separate vendor for time clocks.
And do you have a preliminary cost of what time clock?
I sent that to everyone in email over the weekend. So that's roughly $37,000 a year for time clock. And with, after this year, the OpenGov would be roughly 95,000.
I mean, we're not here to negotiate the contract, although I would if I had the opportunity, because I don't like 5% annual increases either. But, again, that's why I'm confused with what our task is today, other than signing the resolution.
Any questions on the resolution itself? Just the resolution.
I have a question. You had mentioned on the timeline for expectations, it was noted that can take up to like 9 months. This resolution notes that phase 1's within a month, phase 2's within 2 months, and phase 3's within 2 months. So that's a lot more aggressive than maybe you mentioned. If you feel like operationally.
Well, that was an input from commissioners. That's what they would like to see.
Okay.
That had nothing to do with the conversations we had with Open Gov.
I agree. I'd like to see it faster too, but I also
So-
am concerned about employee
Yeah.
ability to implement this.
100%. We recognize
your support to help them get it implemented.
Yeah, and we recognize that they have a day job as well. And we can get as aggressive as they can handle as far as the implementation goes. But we stagger this out with them so that if there's a vacation or if there's a big event, we'll work around that schedule so that the implementation is on track. But we build it out to be flexible, and it comes down to the 9 month comes down to about an hour a week, roughly. So we can always tailor that to be way more aggressive as well.
Yeah, and to his point, right, like summer we understand is incredibly busy with what every person is doing between you, field crew, everyone in this room. We have a team of typically 6 to 8 members who are dedicated to your implementation. What I'll say to that first month, what is the first month? What does the second month look like? That's where we start to establish goals of both you all and of those who are going to be using the software day in and day out. So a lot of times those first conversations, specifically, let's talk field crew for a moment. We will have individualized conversations of what each person is currently doing, right? Because we understand that there's a lot of institutional knowledge. There's a lot of, I've been doing this for 20, 30 years. And we try to maintain as much of that as possible, right? We're not trying, Rome wasn't built in a day, but maybe in, month 3, we want that person to be able to attach a photo to the work they did, right? It's a good goal. While someone else, maybe we want that person to be able to turn on a stopwatch while they're out completing work, attach a photo, attach the, or type in the vehicle that they used along with how much asphalt they used to patch a pothole, right? Those are very different, but at the end, in that 6 to 9 months, we're all going to be at the same level. Believe it or not, we've done implementation after implementation based off of what your goals are.
I'm not familiar with the master contract. What, if we get to the end of 2028 and we don't think this is working for us, what are the termination provisions?
So, so from the termination of the 2028, which would leave you with what, 2 years left in your contract? Yeah. At that point in time, we would work with you to get you back your data. It's always your data. And then we would go through, there is no termination for convenience. So we would work with you to get your data back, and then you could go someplace else. But the contract is held up. There is a clause for termination for non-appropriation. So if there was a year that you couldn't get funding, we can work with you there.
Which is
Real life possibility.
not out of the realm of possibility, exactly. Other questions?
What is our current term for the other modules that we use?
It's aligned to January 1st.
To January 1st, but is there an end date on those, or are those when did those start?
We can double check on that. We aligned the dates so that when the renewal terms come up, that could be easily swapped.
I believe it's the end of this year. So that budgeting that we do during that budget cycle, that contract ends at the end of this year.
I mean, I would suggest you negotiate a more an annual increase reduction, or at least tie it to CPI or something that's going to be less than 5% most likely, just to give us a little bit of break. And I mean, I don't see why we signed 5-year agreements. I think they should be a minimum, I mean, a maximum of 3, given the situation. I know this is an ERP system, so it's a little bit different. It's definitely not something you're gonna rip and replace, very,
Overnight.
very easy, but, so again, that's just my feedback on that piece. As in terms of the resolution, and it's pretty straightforward. It's really just a stamp of approval with some general guidance, I guess, of how you plan to oversight the administration of this project.
Well, as far as the resolution itself, it tries to adjust what we call the areas of potential fraud, abuse, and or data being entered incorrectly, et cetera. It really tries to streamline that to basically say when we enter it once, we don't have to enter the data anymore. But that without that, we can't guarantee that things won't work. It's just,
Yeah.
we can keep doing the same way, except expect different results. That's wishful thinking, but I'm just saying that that's where we're at.
Yeah. So I am concerned about the timeline from an implementation standpoint. If just worked in software for 25 years and knowing how our kind of government folks tend to operate, I do think from an execution standpoint, it could be a concern. So we got to be very careful that, like, again, I am a staunch supporter. We need to do this. However, executing, garnering consensus, getting the steering committee in place, we got a lot going on this year already, right? So it's going to be, to me, it's going to be a challenge to implement all multiple phases of this in the time that you guys have allotted. Just on the surface, it feels that way. It's, and I don't want to get to a point where, okay, we're 6 months from now or 7 months from now, and we're kind of like, hey, we didn't get it done, so January 1, we're not getting the data start, we're not getting those things. So prioritizing what's the most important elements and making sure we hit those targets probably would be something
I
that
think
we talk about.
My question would be, do we know where the next fraud instance is going to occur? Because that's where I'd want to put the resources.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know where it's going to be? Does anyone know where it's going to be? Because if we don't, you need to do it all or do none. To me, that's the bottom line. If you don't want to fix the problem, just say, don't fix the problem. If we do, then this is one of the 2 different vendors to essentially fix those issues.
Who are your competitors?
Tyler would be one of those.
Okay.
Other questions?
Eugene had one.
Oh. I wanted an estimate on cost and time savings if we approve this. And then I guess also if implemented, is there a way at the end of year 1, which would be the end of 28, to get an actual number on cost and time savings?
What I would add to that, we at the end of the day, this is a partnership, and this should be not only software, but a process that is used every single time. I mean, take assets. You click into an asset, you can see manuals, everything in one spot, right? So to your point, right, when we begin a partnership, what we'd love to do is help to get the word out, because I think that that's also a goal, is what are we doing about the concerns that we've heard in this room? So we'd love to help with some press releases, and then we'd love to actually create customer stories with you. Ed was a part of a customer story that we did in our budgeting module or product that's posted on our website. And so we could work with you to create customer stories that you could not only publish around the building, but on your website. You could share those on LinkedIn, on social media, and it helps our partnership not only grow, but you can truly show fact-based figures on return on investment here.
I believe I sent that link to everyone, that article, because it actually showed where we saved the county $100,000 in time. And we were able to do that, which allowed us to respond to all those audits. I've been asking for additional people for the last couple of years, and we've only been able to do that because we've been able to streamline the process of budgeting. We went from 51 hours to 20 hours, something like that. Not counting the time behind the scenes we have to work to do those budgets and prepare them when you guys request changes. So is there documentation to support the estimated cost? Sure there are, but there's nothing better than having actual data. So we can't get the data until we implement product. And we've implemented one product to theirs, and we've proved it to actually exceed our expectations, so.
Ed, you'd mentioned, at Finance Committee, and I don't know if I'm jumping around here, are you planning on hiring an additional, is your thought that you would like to hire an additional person to monitor the system?
No.
What conversation we had? Was that a time clock? Seemed like we were talking about, okay, if this is implemented, we're gonna have to have one more person on board that monitors. Okay, remind me, if you will, a conversation that we had in regards to an additional person.
I believe that was a completely different conversation, Jim. I don't think it dealt with this
Open Gov.
resolution or open gov.
Okay, thank you.
I think it's replacing a person that is moving to Ashley's department, isn't it? Was that what you're talking
Yeah, we'll be replacing that person, but there was no additional personnel needed for this.
about? That's different than this here, Jim.
Anything further? I have a quick question, in regards to kind of what discussion we just had. You indicated that, for example, if you had people out fixing potholes, and you could say, okay, this one took X amount of time because we whatever. Okay, so at the end of the day, they've got pictures, they've got time, they've got people. Who monitors all that?
That is completely your decision on what you want to track. We have quite a few customers who want every inspection to be a checklist, and that is their goal, to get every inspection in there, right? We can create behind the scenes.
Jump in real quick.
Yeah.
Okay, so, they want to inspect, I guess my question is, who are the people, or who is the person then that is responsible for taking an 8-hour shift and all these people on the shift and all the things that they're doing? I mean, that sounds like a 40-hour job in itself for one day. So how does that get condensed into somebody being able to pull it up and say, okay, in the next 2 hours, I'm going to look at what everybody did yesterday, so I can plan on maybe getting this work done. I can evaluate how much time it's going to take to get the next job done, type of thing.
Right.
Okay.
Who is doing that today, or is it even being done?
I don't know. My guess is it's probably not being monitored.
At least that closely.
Right. So with the time save, because, there's time that is saved by implementing this. Typically what we see is we move away from a whiteboard based morning meeting and assign those tasks out rather than coming in, pieces of paper, whiteboard, an hour and a half long in the morning, or coming back at the end of the day to turn those in, if at all, right? So that's that insurance piece of this. So to answer your question, that is going to be what you ultimately decide, but it doesn't take hours to pool that data any longer like it does today. It's click of a button throughout the entire system of, oh, I'm on a pothole. Let's click and see how many potholes we've completed this week, or if there are any outstanding. Or I'm out in the field and I can pull up the map and see open requests near me and just go hit one of those. Does that answer your question?
Not really.
Okay.
Well, let me try.
Okay.
So we have situations where we have people entering data hours a day. So if they're not entering the data hours a day, they could be looking at this report. At the same time, this data that we're collecting by the guy who's doing the pothole filling in the field, that information stream is actually posted right up on the website so the public can see it. So anyone could have access to that data at any point in time. That's part of the transparency. If there was an issue with our last meeting, you've seen it, when the commissioners were discussing possible rate change, it was the fact that we were not upfront and telling the public what we were doing, how we were spending money. They're concerned. They didn't know where the money was being spent. It could have been spent in a good way, but they didn't know. This includes, part of that is the transparency. So all the information we're collecting is seen by the public. So how do you put a price on that? what is that worth for you as an elected official to have that data automatically put up there so you don't have to do reports and post anything, it's there? What does that give the public in your eyes that would justify anything? So how much would that cost, or what's it worth to you to have that information to the public without costing us any additional money or any additional time? I don't have an answer.
Well, I'll assume that, as long as you have been in business and with as many people as you have, I guess that was just my question up front, and, so on the back end, I'll, I guess, do your thing, and then it can be monitored, and those type of questions can be answered better, when we see how the, department heads or whatever are addressing their needs and how it addresses their needs.
Carrie?
I do have a question. So I'm from County Highway. So my question would be, our guys that are out in the field, like today, they're putting down asphalt material for a mile roadway. So somebody's out in the field putting all this information in. Is that what you're saying on that? Or it's coming back to the office and I'm the one that's putting all that information in?
Good question. We've seen it done both ways.
Come back to the mic, Samantha.
We've seen it done both ways. We've seen it done a lot of different ways. We'll give suggestions. During implementation, what we do is we show you about 2, 3, 4 different ways, and then you tell us what works. So if sometimes, right, you want to be the one to have your hands in the pot for all of that, we can adjust the process so it is.
Okay.
Some of that time saved, though, is I'm a guy out in the field,
Right.
snap a picture or check a box, done. Then it's living in the system and you do not have to do that.
Right. So then additional cost I see on our end is all of our trucks are equipped with a laptop, phone, something. Because I really don't feel that we can ask our employees to take their pictures, work related, and send them to us. So we will also have that additional cost as well.
Thank you, Carrie. Sure. As been stated, this is really a beginning step. The resolution calls for establishment of a steering committee, calls for the auditor to deliver a formal written implementation plan within 30 days. What's going to be in that plan. It also provides for quarterly progress reports to the council and the commissioners and an annual public report. So there's a lot more to be done. This is an initial step. Any other questions or comments?
I've kind of been in agreement with Matt about the 5-year implementation or contract, excuse me. Not sure I'm in agreement with something that long that can't be adjusted, but that's up to the commissioners.
Other comments?
I believe they addressed that question. So if it wasn't appropriate, it wouldn't happen. That's your clause to get out. If you don't want to put the budget, then it would be removed.
Other comments? Thank you for all the information.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Ed.
If you have any questions after this, I know I've sent some emails, my cell number's
could
in
you
there,
send
but
that,
please give us a call.
That deck out, please.
Yeah, we'll send this out as well.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Roll call, Ed.
Ms. Flanagan.
Yes.
Mr. Wyatt.
Yes.
Mr. Vogel.
Yes.
Mr. Bookout.
Yes.
Ms. Piper.
Yes.
Mr. Cantz.
Yes.
Mr. Hughes.
Yes. Ed suggested that we take up order form Q 14189, which you have in your packet, which outlines potential real financial obligations for this year and potential for future years. This is not an appropriation. They'll be back next month to ask for appropriation or transfer to cover this year. What's the pleasure of the council?
I don't understand, again, is somebody just looking for the council to endorse a contract that, for example, that the commission has already signed? I know that's what we just did, that's why I'm confused as to what we're doing now.
Ed, you want to?
Sure, what I said earlier, there's currently in the budget, in my budget, to move forward with this product.
Correct.
And so we're talking about this, the statement. So what I'm asking for is to vote on allowing me to use those funds to this. I like to have team support on this. I don't want to go on my own. It's like, I think in order to make this successful, everybody needs to work towards that same goal.
You want us to give blessings to using your contractual funds to pay this, and
Sure.
you'll be back next month to ask
For
replacement
additional
funds.
appropriation for the amount that would go ahead and use for this contract here, for this statement of work.
So you just want us to say it's a favorable recommendation?
Yes, I think favorable recommendation, that sound appropriate? Council, president, other members?
Is that a motion?
Yes.
Motion by Dan, second by Jessica, or vice versa?
Dan, Jess is fine.
Okay.
What did you mean, Ed, about appropriation?
So the monies have been appropriated and budgeted for this amount already.
Right.
What I'm talking about is coming back for additional appropriation to essentially pay for this before the end of the year, because I got other consultants we need to receive work from for budgeting.
So you're saying we have 6 months budgeted, you need another 6 months? Is that what you mean?
Well,
No, he
No.
already has the money in there. that
I know,
can
so what
cover
are we
it now,
appropriating?
But he's going to need money appropriated later. He's gonna come before us again to appropriate that money to pay his
Right.
other obligations that are gonna come throughout the year.
I see.
So it's not-
So we
That
are
budget
spending
side.
money.
But
Correct, we are
he
spending
didn't
the
have
money.
this in his sites.
I thought ARP money this year was covering this cost.
No, that covers your budgeting software.
Budget.
Has nothing to do with the asset management and the permitting, et cetera.
So it's gonna be 133, 529.02?
Yes.
That you're covering, that you're gonna come for?
Where'd you get
Okay,
that number,
where'd you
Matt?
get- Yeah, where'd you
At the
get that?
bottom here?
Bottom of page
I
2.
think it's prorated, so I think it's just that 80,880 cents. That's about it.
Read that number again, Matt.
6/1 vote 2026.
He's
So
reading this
6/1.
number down here.
There's 6 line items on page 1 that total 20, 30, something. And then at the bottom of page 2, customer billing service period, 6/1, I mean, I don't know, maybe Smith or somebody can answer that question. 6/1 billing is 133, 529.02. That's this year's cost, correct?
Our most recent would be a start on July 1st, 2026, and then the total for that would be $126,007.86.
Yeah, I believe that's what I said.
I'm just reading this part.
Is that the 40% discount?
Different
may-
anywhere now?
Yes.
You may have
Look what's in
received
my
it.
packet.
That might have been, is that a June start?
Yes.
Okay, yes. So we switched it to July after having the discussion about funding. So we took off a month of proration.
So it's, number again, 126.
$126,007.86, and then the year after would be 94,000. I could keep going too if you need me to.
Mr. President, would you restate the motion so I'll listen to it one more time, please? Or at least the intent of the motion.
The intent of the motion was to give Ed blessings to pay for this, and he'll be back next month to ask for the appropriate, because he didn't have this appropriated in his contractual budget. But he does have money in the budget to start this system, but he won't have enough money to make it through the rest of the year.
For the other.
Sure, that's what I thought.
Okay.
I'd like to have legal's opinion on this motion as far as, are we skipping a step in the process by doing this early?
I think all you would be doing today would be just giving a friendly endorsement. Yeah, essentially saying what you think you're going to do next month when an actual appropriation comes. You still have to appropriate it next month, so you're not binding yourself to anything. But I think Ed is asking for, as I understand it, Ed has the money. He wants to go ahead and write a check. That money that was previously appropriated is intended to be used for other services, so then he will not have money to pay for those other services. So he's gonna have to replace the money in the kitty, and that'll be an appropriation request made next month. So before he spends the money, he wants to, I guess, have a friendly indication as to what they're likely to do next month.
We've done this before for other departments.
What was the term you used?
Favorable recommendation.
Favorable recommendation.
I've actually talked to State Board of Accounts legal, and basically that's how they explain, just like them. I mean, if you want to move
Sure.
forward with this. And
I won't argue with you, Jessica, that we've done something similar. I just don't remember making it a formal motion and a formal vote. We've told people that we look forward to seeing them in a future meeting for their appropriation. I just don't remember taking a vote on it. I'm hesitant on this vote we're about to take. But I'm on one vote.
I'm come to think it, yeah, I might agree with you, Gene.
But legal
Counsel?
answered the question as far as we're not violating any laws.
No, I mean, again, I think you're not, there's no formal appropriation request before you today, so you're not actually voting on any appropriation, nor could you, because it's not before you today. They have to follow that process. So all that Ed is asking for, as I understand it, is just for you to give a friendly indication as to how you may act in the future, though you would not be binding yourself today to any vote in the future. You still have to pass that, appropriate under your normal course of business next month. So whether you were to take up a formal motion or just all kind of nod your heads, that's up to you. But ultimately, you still have to take formal action next month. Formal appropriation as submitted.
Dan, what would you like to do?
Let's just withdraw my motion and maybe we can nod our heads.
Hey, is
I'm
the
okay-
second,
I'm
you're
good with
comfortable with that? Okay, we'll
Yep.
withdraw the motion. I'll put it this way, does anyone have any other comments that would
Thank you.
suggest that this is not the way the council wants to proceed?
Mr. President, I'd like to just, for my own sake, I thought, for the discussion we had earlier, Ed, that, I guess it was my understanding that you had the money, to cover this, but now you're coming back to us and now you want appropriations to replace this?
we do have the money to pay for it.
But I
can't-
thought that was in the kitty, and we're gonna spend that, and there'll be no additional request for.
I don't inflate my budget to justify spending $130,000 to buy these kind of things. That money was appropriated through the budgeting process last year, was approved by this council. It's in the bank. We can spend that money on just any contract we want.
Right.
Right?
Right.
My question is, currently it's really earmarked for other vendors that we have to utilize for auditing. Okay? I would like to use that amount of money to get this vendor started so we can start this process. And come back later and ask for the money, 127,000 change. I'd like to come back and ask for additional appropriation to put that money back in that fund so I can pay these vendors.
Okay, so where's that $127,000 gonna come from?
Additional appropriation next month.
Well, I understand that.
He currently has enough in that line item.
Currently has enough, but now he wants that replaced.
Correct.
With another $127,000. My question is, where's $127,000?
Well, if you want, honestly, and we already know this, so I was getting out in the open, with the issues we've had, and we know the revenue that that you guys budgeted was not utilized the way it was supposed to be used, that money could have been used towards this a long time ago, and it's never been utilized because we didn't put safeguards in place.
Basically, something out of the thousand.
All I'm saying is before we find more,
That's what I'm.
more issues concerning fraud, I want to stop the potential bleeding. And you can say, no, we don't want to do that. And that's your call. You're elected to make that decision.
Any further discussion? We've adopted the resolution. We'll defer on taking any action on the purchase order at this time. That's where we stand, right? Hearing nothing further, I'm moving on. Appointments, committee reports, I know of none.
Can I share a little bit on the IT front?
Yes, please.
We did a meeting with the Google team to just give them an update on where we stood with just projects this year and such. And so just for everybody's benefit, where it got left, Ryan Stoltz is doing an Active Directory cleanup as we speak. That's going to take another 60 days. We're going to revisit some pricing options and some compatibility with Tyler and Odyssey. And then we'll meet as an IT committee again to just kind of regroup and see where things stand. Given the amount of things happening this year, it's going to be tough to, throw another log on the fire, so to speak. So we'll address that as we go. But just know that we've got another 30, 60 days where we're still doing some cleanup on Ryan's end to get a real accurate count of how many users and things we have internally so that we can actually get some pricing that actually is legit. So we're working through some of these things currently.
Okay, thank you. Any questions of Matt? No old business?
President,
Yes.
under old business for next month, can we request that the treasurer comes back in front of us and gives us an update on his issue that he informed us about in February, please?
We will do so.
Thank you, sir.
Could we also just touch on the strategic financial?
Please.
Yes. So one other thing, so the strategic financial planning group had an update meeting with Policy Analytics, who's doing the partial level analysis of our of all of our data. They've got some tweaks, and I expected we would actually get that back by today, but maybe we will get it today. They did a presentation. They came back with some numbers, and we're still working through this. One of the tools that they actually provided was a lit calculator with all of the various scenarios for how lit would be distributed, assuming it doesn't change, and it sits today. And it was a really nice tool that, as a group, if and when we convene this must group with all the different taxing entities in the county, we can sit down and have a dialogue based on the numbers of what local income tax impact would be based on the rates that you plug into the calculator. So it's going to be a huge benefit when that time comes. I think we all agree that there's obviously some still unknown factors to the lit conversation, i.e., if you have an address that's in Muncie, but you live outside the city limits, do you fall under the city? Do you fall under the county? There was some questions that just, nobody seems to have answers to. So, but we are getting close. And I think that data now will go back to Baker Tilly and we'll get that comprehensive financial plan updated quickly, hopefully, and have some of that as we're guiding towards our budget year, our budget meetings. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. New business, I realize have gone long, but I appreciate your patience. This is important. In past years, typically the president of the council has provided some guidance to office holders and department heads as they embark on preparing budget requests. This year, I wanted to have at least some discussion by the full council before I issued anything. Given the circumstances regarding SB1, SEA1 now, and which will become more fully implemented for 2027, I thought we ought to talk about what our expectations are in terms of budgeting in a general way regarding personnel, regarding operating expenses, regarding capital expenditures, and the use of other funds and grants. So I would open the floor for anyone's thoughts regarding what you are looking for in terms of budget requests.
From what they've seen, what they've proposed to us, preliminary proposals, apparently we're gonna have less money this year, coming year than we did last year.
As far from what I've gathered from discussions with Policy Analytics, we probably should not anticipate any increase in property tax revenue. There may be an increase in our local income tax revenue. We also need to factor in, we've had discussions with the commissioners, particularly Commissioner Brand, regarding anticipated cost savings, which they continue to work on in areas such as medical insurance, liability insurance, other costs. So there are a lot of moving parts, but if you hear the legislator say, well, we've guaranteed you a 4% increase for next year, that doesn't apply to us, because every time we get an increase, our tax cap loss usually wipes it out. That's what essentially happened this year.
I did a back of the napkin, and I haven't actually updated this with the, we have the highest circuit breaker loss in all of the state of Indiana. So, and I did a back of the calculator of revenue for 26. We don't have the circuit breaker report yet, so we don't know what our loss is going to be. So we don't know what our net revenue is going to be just yet. I only estimated it at 26%, and that we were told is low. Could be like 30 or 35% apparently. So 35% of every dollar gets carved back to the state. But at 26%, the gain and loss at county general was zero. We would gain nothing. That's at 26%. If it comes back at 30, we stand to lose on county general from a revenue standpoint. And again, there's a lot of other factors that play into this. This was just an idea. Some of the other funds, reassessment would see a little bit of a gain. Cume Bridge was going to see a little bit of a gain. Health is going to see a reduction no matter what, most likely, from a revenue standpoint. And then from lit, for 26, we took in our supplemental already, so we're up about 12% roughly, is what I calculated.
Our supplemental was less than half of
last year, yeah. But we took in a little bit higher certified share, previous one, I believe. So,
yes.
Anyway, just to his point, I'm sorry, that's not right. That's not right. Lit was at 1.5% gain, so not much from last year. If you combine what we received plus supplemental, which to his point was a 54% reduction in local income tax supplemental revenue, we're at 1.5%. That makes more sense. Fix this. So,
go ahead.
Well, just to finish my, I guess, a thought on that. From a budgeting standpoint, my recommendation is remain flat across the board, and start at zero for capital expenses and any other operational expenses that aren't salary related, and work your way up and try to navigate any cost savings that you can find. Cost savings operationally that can be allocated to, we've thrown out the 40-hour work week for days. We can save money on insurance and benefits if we got the remainder of employees to 40 hours. And we saw some attrition, over time. We have to eventually bite the bullet and get to that point, I think. So I would just, if I'm a department head, just trying to navigate, this may not be the year, but next year most likely will be the year that there's going to be, significant loss. And what am I working towards as a plan? And again, I don't think that folks need to come up and give us, every detail of every line item, but come up with a strategy that you think will work for your department and try to communicate that to us and give us some idea what you're thinking and how the future looks for you in your areas and what you think you can do long term to help drive some cost savings and some efficiency gains. We're talking a lot about technology and other things. Are there things that we haven't seen or heard or talked about? Come with that kind of plan would be how I would. Thanks.
I mean, in there, we'll just use Carrie and Tommy since they're here, we'll pick on them. If the machine, granted, they're spending 200 and some thousand base price for a machine, that in theory is going to be 3 times the work with one person that they're going to do with 2 people. I mean, that's, to me, that's forward looking, even though it's expensive forward looking, at least it's forward looking.
Very much so. So I think we're pretty clearly looking at no new position. I think that's a given. If there are open positions, if there is an opportunity to move them to 40-hour positions and maybe not fill a position going forward, that would certainly be helpful. Operating expenses, the days of just adding another 5 or 10% on all your operating expenses, just don't do it. You need to keep those flat or reduce them if at all possible. And I agree with Matt on capital expenditures. No is going to be the answer in most cases. You might separate those out if you have a case for operating expenses. Go ahead and make it. But we're going to need to look to other funds, maybe DCRC. We're able to do that for 911 communications. And look to grants as well. Outside funding is important. Other thoughts?
I know last year I thought we had discussed no new positions, but the budget still showed up with some new positions put in it. Am I wrong on that?
Yeah.
No, you're exactly right.
Yeah,
The
so,
assistant for the court administrator position showed up and,
GIS.
yeah,
GIS, thank you.
so, but we're thinking how to address that. We request the auditor's office just to remove those from the request before we even get it. Or do we sit here and have the case made to us again on why we should have no employees? Takes up a lot of time, budget time to, we make a rule and then we sit here and listen to a case be made as to why we should do something. And we get pushed and pulled.
Well, this
I
is
don't
just a guidance.
Yeah.
It is I just wanted to put before the office holders and department heads where we think they need to be. They can ask for anything. We can't have no control over that, but
I just think we need to be, and I'm as guilty as anyone here of listening to the story and recognizing the need, but I think maybe it's a pep talk for myself, but we need to understand that we need to, when we say we're not going to do something, not do it.
other questions, comments, thoughts? I will draft a letter. I'll circulate it to the council members for your comments and then try to get that out to the office holders, department heads in the next 10 days. Okay.
Good.
Appreciate your thoughts. Any other new business? Elected officials and department heads. Carrie?
Carrie, County Highway. I just want to double check. So the salaries do have to be turned in to the commissioners the first meeting in June. Is that correct, Ed?
Correct.
Okay. So anybody's budget salaries have to be turned into the commissioners.
Yes, that's a new procedure, and I know that you're all preparing those or have them prepared by now anyway, but I'll try to get our thoughts out to you before that.
Thank you.
Sheriff?
Greetings, Tony Skinner, Delaware County Sheriff. First, I want to appreciate you guys for factoring in my comments from a couple of months ago about the second party authentication for payroll and stuff like that. I think the wording that you concluded on was very appropriate, so thank you for that. Secondly, I think it goes without saying that the high gas prices are taking a toll on us and our budget. So just know that at some point this year, we're probably going to have to come back and ask for a little more. The prices are coming down now. We do have a mileage restriction in place. I'm very firm about guys leaving their cars idling when they're not in them. Our canine cars are the exception to that, but I'm kind of a butthole when it comes to that, and our deputies know it, but just wanted to forewarn you now that at some point at the end of the year, if it stays like it is, we're going to need a little help. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Sheriff. Coroner?
Gavin Green, Delaware County Coroner. Just want to come up and give my monthly spiel of all the cases that we've had. Currently, we've had 280 cases as of this morning. That's 1.92 cases a day, so about 2 a day. We're averaging 13 a week, 58 a month. We're projected to do about 700 for this year. Councilperson Cant, just to let you know, we had 601 cases last year total for our office, and we did 188 autopsies last year. That was a question that you asked last meeting that I wanted to give
Are
you.
you trending this year?
For autopsies, probably right around there. So, and to also piggyback off of, I appreciate the council's guidance on basically just ripping the Band-Aid off and saying no increases. We're not going to do any salary increases, but just to let you know how we operate is we do not have any vehicles. All of our deputies can turn in mileage if they want, but there's just no per diem. So if they only travel 2 miles from their house, they're going to get whatever the county is giving us for the 2 miles. So all of our deputies that get paid on a per case basis, they can turn in mileage. But Rhiannon, Gary, and myself, we hardly ever turn any mileage in. It's just kind of a cost of it's what I have to do for this elected job. So we do not have to endure those high gas prices. So, but I appreciate everyone just telling us kind of the guidance of what to do going forward, and all of the 9 line items that we have will give a nice explanation, and hopefully you don't have any questions.
Maybe get with those OpenGov folks and ask about digitizing those autopsies.
What?
So maybe get with those OpenGov folks about digitizing your autopsy process for you.
So they've actually, our third-party pathology company has started sending those electronically and has sped it up quite a bit after we had a hard conversation in January and February. So we've started to get those a lot quicker. So any questions?
Questions? Thank you.
Okay.
Is anybody signed up? Oh, I'm sorry. Shelley?
Shelley Harvey, Public Defender's Office. One thing, and I know it's almost impossible to pinpoint, but when we're preparing the budgets, we're told to put about a 10% increase in for insurance. If we could be told, a 4%, why don't you just do a 4% increase in insurance rates? I mean, it's going to make things look a lot better when you actually get it. Is there any guidance we can get? And I know you don't have a crystal ball as far as insurance, but as far as if you're going to tell us there are no pay increases, I will prepare so that we don't have to go back every night when departments say, okay, I'll lower my increase my pay increase from 4% request to a 2% request, and then perf and all that stuff has to be adjusted overnight. I mean, if you tell us there's not going to be pay increase, please don't put them in your line. I'll do that. But with the insurance, it's just hard. And the numbers look so big when you increase it by 10%. And if we had any kind of guidance on how much of an increase to put in those insurance numbers.
I'll have that discussion with the commissioners and see if we can't get a more accurate reading on that.
I mean, if we're told 10%, I'll put it in. I don't have an issue, but when we walk in here on the first day, I would love it if we all had the most expectations realistic in our budget requests. And I know that's on me and my boss for preparing the budget. But we're going to be tight, and I want to be as realistic as possible when I turn mine in. So
Appreciate it.
thank you.
Appreciate it.
Can I say something about the insurance?
Yes.
So we haven't brought it forward yet this year. I mentioned it earlier in the year that we actually need to move some of the money from the health insurance to vision and dental because of the rates that were changed last year. There has actually been a decrease in health insurance, but we haven't seen much of it because nobody's brought a transfer forward yet to actually see. So there might not be much of an increase from what we have already budgeted this year for next year without seeing those numbers.
In the next 10 days, can we kind of formalize that? Can you?
Look into it.
I mean, we can try.
We try.
Every department's going to have to go through it individually because we've already spent out of it, and they're going to have to look at their people and look at the difference from the vision cost and the dental cost to move that money. But there should be extra sitting in some of the department's health insurance.
There, it looks like there is based on the expense reports, but what
I meant to cover the vision and dental, but there should still be like a little extra left over from what we had changed.
Are you guys still
to.
moving that into the the fund for health insurance? You're pulling it from the departments?
Yeah, yes, that's still the process.
What's that number? Fund. Okay. So what's in their lines probably is not current. Okay. Thank you.
Tanya.
Hi, I just wanted to point out, since we were talking about budget, just for all of the departments, we always get bombarded with the same question from everyone. I have already researched the 2027 rates for the FICA and PERF, and they are going to be the same. It's 7.65 and 11.2. 7.65 is the FICA and 11.2 is the PERF.
Thank you. Commissioner Brand.
Stephen Brand, County Commissioner's Office. So next Wednesday on June 3rd, we have a meeting with Marsh McLennan Group. Pierre Fox is our broker to go over where we are year to date for insurance and try to put together some sort of an expected forecast for the rest of this year and an anticipated rate for next year. I'm hoping that there will be no rate increase. Mr. Hughes earlier commented on some cost reductions, cost savings that the Commissioner's Office is working on. One thing specifically as it relates to payroll tax, the Section 125 plans of the IRS tax code. I think there's a big opportunity in the county to take advantage of that. We're working with a company that could potentially administer that for us, and it would essentially be, nothing's free, of course, but it would essentially be free because they would get paid out of the fees, or I'm sorry, they would get paid out of the savings that the county would experience by not having to match those FICA taxes and the savings that the employee would make. So as an example, an employee making around $45,000 a year could, if they took full advantage of the Section 125 plans, they could put about another $1,900 in their pocket on an annual basis. And that same employee, if they took full advantage, would benefit the county about $960. So you'd see a $960 reduction in payroll taxes by lowering the taxable income rate of the employee. So that's one of the bigger things that we're working on right now If we got around 60% of the employees to take advantage of that, you'd see about a $300,000 payroll tax savings for the county next year. And that would be a year over year. It wouldn't be a one-time savings. Also, our know before training, this is a message for everybody, is due tomorrow. So we put these out every month. Everybody has 3 weeks to accomplish it. We're still not getting 100% completion. So I'm asking everybody to make sure they complete this. This is part of our risk mitigation plan. Everybody's well aware of a credential harvesting event that we had a few months ago where somebody clicked on a link to nominate one of their coworkers for, some fantastic award. It's a trick. And they actually gave up their credentials, and it, caused a lot of problems. So please make sure you're taking those IT security trainings, and please make sure you're getting them completed. The strong recommendation from the commissioners is that those that are not completing them get their credentials turned off, which means you're not going to be able to log in. You'll have to go to IT and set up a special session to complete your training, and then your credentials will be turned back on. I don't want to take away anybody's ability to do their job. We already struggle to keep up as it is, but it's critically important that we complete this training on a regular basis. It's part of our mitigation plan, and with our risk management insurance through USI, this is also part of our plan. We committed as a corrective action that we would do this because we pay insurance rates to insulate the taxpayers against, significant data breaches. I think that's it for now. I have the sign-in sheet if you want.
And know before training, if you've not done it, it's well presented, it's short, it's informative. There's no reason not to complete it. We don't have anyone signed up. Is there anyone who would like to speak? Mr. Yenser.
Rick Yenser, newsman, author. After listening to 3 hours here of spending and budgeting, a couple things come to mind, especially as you consider what you're going to do about money. Some of you saw last week when the people showed up, they said live within your means. And that's what we all have to do with higher prices, whether it's food or gas. I still hear noise over at City Hall that they may try to push through an income tax increase, which would benefit all government. And I'm not sure why, even though they're still throwing too much money into public safety instead of public works or other things. And as far as the software, I've heard this pitch a couple times. My main question is, one, is it AI assisted? Second, how it is going to benefit the people. Because again, most of the government websites are kind of old. They only have limited information. And again, it doesn't matter how much government puts up online. We don't have media here anymore. The paper's mailed to you. It's got one person that writes it. The radio, you listen to it, going to work, coming home. So anyway, then you got social media, people like me that know where people get their news. And with 40,000 people at our one site, and Hansard's got another with 75,000, you may want to think about how you're going to get the message out to the people, because every time you're going to talk about raising taxes, they're going to be up here and tell you, live within your means. Thank you.
Thank you. I think you might want to talk to the folks while they're here, but that's one of the ideas of OpenGov. The whole concept is to make all this information public, which it is not at the present time. Any other public comments? Comments from the council?
I actually have one today. All of us received our letters for our annual conference. So I know that's something that some of us try to get to every year. I believe Dan and Jim and myself have already reserved our rooms on our own. How do you want us to go about scheduling to actually participate in the conference itself? I know sometimes we've gone through the auditor's office and you've handled that for us. Other times we've done it on our own. So I believe that you did. Okay. So then we need to let Tanya know as soon as possible so she can register us if we plan to attend. Thank you.
I suggest Jessica.
I guess that's me. Send your emails to
Okay.
me if you plan to attend the conference. But it's very good. We learn a lot about what's going on at the state level, and I think the most beneficial part of attending the conference is talking to the other counties, finding out what their pain points are, sharing our best practices. So a lot of good that comes from this annual conference. So yeah, just email me.
Quick question for Tanya. Do you have the rooms blocked already for 7 of us? So there's no guarantee we'll get that hotel at this particular point in time.
Yeah,
So
on your
why
own to
would-
book it.
Yeah.
You already did though, didn't you? Yeah.
We would tell her to book.
No, that's for the actual conference to attend this, to
Oh.
pay for the AIC fee.
We've already done that too.
I have not.
Okay, I have.
Other comments from council?
Yeah, another modernization project underway is the Delaware County website. Kyle Johnson has been spearheading that project, and those have been involved probably have seen there'll be an enormous improvement from an accessibility standpoint and ability to find things on our public-facing website. So that's soon to be coming. On that note, there'll be some opportunity for us to probably do a little bit better promotion. I do caution the general public of getting their news from social media. I don't think that's a wise alternative to standard mainstream media, to be honest. So I would just throw that out there. We do, I think, could do, and Kyle continues to do a great job with our county social media promotion as well. So, and I'm sure the date on that website, that was July, but can't remember. So it'll be soon.
Kyle did email all of us a while back for us to get updated bios and pictures to him for the county council portion of the website. I know I'd done that, but I don't know if anyone else. It's been a while, but yeah.
Okay. Kyle might want to send out a reminder if he's listening.
I have one comment. Since our last meeting, members of the public may have received their new property tax assessments for 2026 payable 2027. Mine was up 20%. Others have even larger increases. And I want to remind the public of Article 10, Section 1 of the Indiana State Constitution. Subject to this section, the General Assembly shall provide by law for a uniform and equal rate of property assessment and taxation, and shall prescribe regulations to secure a just valuation for taxation of all property, both real and personal. So if you have questions, contact your state representative or state senator. Anything further? Entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Jessica, second by Dan. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned.
Takes care of all.